Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Drop Frames. It's Sunday, Cohh's out, and in his place we have the #1 streamer from Ireland, straight off the #1 podcast, Dodge and Cox podcast, one half of the show. It's Jesse Cox. How's it going?
Like anything we just did. Everything you said was a lie. Nothing was real there. It's 10 a.m. I've been awake exactly 1 hour. Life is good.
Did you get your coffee? Great. Did you?
No.
What?
No.
Did you order it at least?
No. I'm operating off of a 2-day-old iced tea that I forgot I had in the fridge here at the office. So that's where I'm at mentally.
Ew.
So, yeah.
Is that safe to drink?
What?
Does tea go bad?
Just tea. It's just tea can't go bad. It's tea.
I'm Googling. Hold on. I got to make sure you're okay. Does tea go bad?
It's been in a fridge. It's leaf water. It can't go bad.
The answer is yes. Tea can expire.
Wait, hold on. Packaged, ready to go, dipped in hot water tea?
Does tea go bad after brewed? The second most searched thing.
How long?
If you have brewed your tea, you should know that it will start going bad after 2 weeks. After that time, your tea will begin to lose its flavor and aroma. This means that your tea will no longer taste as good as it did before. You may also notice that your tea has lost some of its color.
Wait, so you went to the website where like the tea snob is sitting there just like, well, your tea won't taste quite as good. I'm over here like, I just wanted something to drink.
I guess.
So like, it's not going to go bad. It's just water.
I did find another thing. Now, that was the Googles. Here's the Reddit.
Oh, all right. This is the source.
Yeah, this is a fact.
I'm still scrolling. I'm looking for the good comment. I have found that after 2 to 3 days, the taste of sweetened homemade iced tea starts changing a little. It often goes bad after 4 to 5 days or so, like an oversweet / off or fermented taste and smell, but that can vary.
That's because it's filled with sugar. It's a sweet tea. This is just water and tea. There's not an ounce of sweetener in this. It's leaf plus water equal brown. That's it. That's all it is.
It looks red on your camera. What? It's red. What do you mean? That's a red tea.
Oh, all right. Red. Whatever.
That's red, right? Is that just me, Zeke?
I think it's a trick of the light, but
it could be the lighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it
is.
Hold
on, I can go very bright. Would that help you?
What? No, you don't. You don't need to change anything.
Honestly, don't know why you would drink it anyways without any sweetness in it.
Because I'm I like it like that. Sweet tea is too sweet. They always make it taste like sugar water. I can't do it.
That's the whole point of drinking tea, though. At least in the U.S.
No.
You want to drink the sugar water.
I don't want to drink the sugar water.
Okay. All right.
Look, some of us don't want to drink the sugar water. It's me and my hydro homies. We don't want to drink the sugar water.
You got a lot of hydro homies, Jesse?
I got the most hydro homies.
Okay.
We get together. You better watch out.
Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? Do I have to
hydro homies?
Catch up on something?
Oh, hydro homies is a real thing. Yeah. That's a real thing.
Oh my god.
That's a real thing. Yeah. You gotta hydrate, Zeke.
Another new fangly kitty word that I gotta learn.
Well, I would say it's kind of a boomer thing. It's kind of like
it's
been around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to get banned in the US or anything. You don't have to. You're good. It's fine.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah. Zeke, how you been? Everything good? Past week, great?
Everything's good except the lady is just sick.
Oh, that's not good.
And I haven't caught it yet, but I'm ready for it. I'm waiting to whatever she's got. I'm sure I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
If it's communicable.
Yeah.
I will definitely get it.
Well,
but yeah, it's been like, I mean, you ever been in? I'm sure. I would imagine both of you have been in the situation where the person you're living with is sick and you feel fine, and you're just like, you feel bad for feeling fine. It's like you wake up, you're like, okay, another day, and they're like,
yeah,
just snot everywhere, and they're like, don't look at me, I'm horrible, and you're like, I feel so bad. I want to feel horrible too with you.
I don't know if I feel bad. I will try to, help them in their situation. But I think
Well,
that's
sure,
just
yeah.
you're the empath here, and I'm the I don't know, the rational thinker that's just like, oh, I'll help them get better. But you need to stay the fuck away from me because I don't want to get sick. I hate being sick. I hate being sick.
I just don't think about it anymore because I'm so rarely actually sick, like down with something
Yeah,
that it's
sickness,
kind of an afterthought for me. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe it's a genetic thing. Maybe it's just because I'm always a little sick. So like
might be true.
maybe it bounces off me or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sickness stuff, like people come back from PAXs with like, you know, the con crud and stuff like that. And I usually miss that shit except for TwitchCon when I got COVID, which sucked.
Yeah.
But
that's
like,
why you don't go to cons.
Usually
I
miss it.
I don't know why Cohh decided to go to GDC. Something must be happening there for him to risk the sickness, you know?
Isn't he like a game developing
He's
guy?
probably schmoovin'. He's probably schmoovin'. That's what he's doing. Making business moves.
Cohh is not afraid. I will tell you, Cohh is not afraid of getting sick. If anything, he's bringing his kid diseases.
Oh, you're right. He's got 3
patient zero.
spawnlings. Yeah, you're probably right. That's fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was scared that when I came back from Cohh's place, like that petri dish was gonna overtake my body and I was gonna start, you know, raging out like,
well, how
28
old,
days later or something.
Are his kids old enough to are all of his kids going to school? Or are they there's still one that's really young, right?
One that's really young,
like in their 30s, dude.
What?
You're just really old. Did you not know that?
Oh my God.
One of them's getting married.
Holy shit. That actually is happening with one of my friends and it scared the shit out. Well, funny enough, Wheat, who we all know and has been on the show multiple times, he's like, yeah, my kid's getting ready to graduate high school. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Oh my God, Mini Wheat is 18. Jeez,
yeah.
Or 17.
Yeah, that kid was like 5 when I met him.
Dude, that kid whooped my ass in Roblox for a salty tournament.
I remember that. Yeah, on stage at a TwitchCon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking. Let's not. Zeke, did you know that as you get older, time passes faster? Were you aware of this?
True.
Time passes faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to know why? Turns out your eyes, the frame rate decreases over time. So you pick up less. And so time appears to move faster because you perceive less information.
That's correct. That is correct. We got a lot of inside jokes.
This is the stupidest inside joke. This is the stupidest inside joke ever.
Oh my God. Okay.
Zeke, you're in for a show. Me and Jesse have improv terrible inside jokes for over 100+ hours of MCU crew.
Some say the worst inside jokes.
They're really bad.
Oh, you're bringing MCU crew shit in. Okay.
Oh God, it wasn't my intention. Anyway, that's also an inside joke.
So much devastation.
Man, I just gotta say, I am a sorry, sad ass stand-in for Bronze. I'll just say that.
No. Just say that me and Jesse look the same, and you're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do that. Just go with that.
Just like
you guys are you guys twins?
Yeah.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Like that.
I like have a really spicy take every now and again, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He had one last week about lights on controllers and key bindings, and it was a whole thing.
Key bindings.
Yeah,
I had a rant last week about eye for inventory shit.
He did. Yeah.
What do you hold on? Good or bad? Pro or con?
Con. Huge con.
Why?
Huge con and things
why is
that like
eye for inventory bad? Because it makes sense in my brain. Eye inventory.
Because it's on the other side of the keyboard. And my argument, I'll just sum it up for you. You ready?
You have to talk like this guy would talk, though.
W doesn't stand for walk forward. S doesn't stand for slip back. So like, why should I still stand for inventory? It's on the other side of the keyboard. You have to either pick up, you have to have like really long fingers, or you have to actually pick up one of your hands. That's stupid.
Well, I think that's why key bindings do exist, is because for me, for example, when a game is like, all right, F is to interact. I'm like, no, that's E, bro. E is it's always so I have to change those things. Like, but that's why key bindings exist though, right?
Yeah, but some like I play a shitload of indie games and stuff with like or early access or demos.
Okay.
I play a shitload of those, and they're like they don't have rebindable keys sometimes, and they're like the default. We need to just change the default. We need to change our ideas of what the default keys should be, or
yeah, no, I think you're absolutely
just keep
correct.
everything on the left-hand side of the keyboard.
Yeah. There's some games where your hands are all over the place, and I'm like, I don't want to play this. No, I get it. I think you're correct. That a lot of games need to make it more accessible to different people. Absolutely.
I just think the blank is for blank should just be eliminated. Like, it doesn't have to make sense. It has to make it comfortable.
Okay. All right.
So what you're saying is, in theory, you would be fine if I said in my new game,
yeah,
the escape button is actually P for put me out of this game.
No, the escape button.
That's fine.
Like I would love universal buttons, but just don't use that half of the keyboard. Don't use any, like, from Y over. Don't use any of those.
But
unless you have to.
All right.
Unless you absolutely
if you have a mouse,
because you have too many controls, or like that many controls. I get it if you have 100 different controls and they all need their own key binding. Fine, totally fine. Yeah, but like most games don't need that.
All right.
We're good.
Well, and also like, well, Jesse, it's the thing is it's they put I for inventory, but they don't use Z, X, C, or V in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? Like, it's right there. Just use those.
I don't like what's happening.
But I do. I didn't bring it out. I didn't want to talk about it. But Jesse asked me a question.
I was curious.
I wanted to give a studious answer. No, listen. I don't mind talking about this. I want to spread the fucking gospel of this shit. But like, I also don't want to derail the show. I want us to.
That would be a bad thing
every week.
Yeah, JP, that'd be terrible if you went on someone's show and just derailed the whole thing.
I would hate that person if they were invited on, say, the Dodge and Cox podcast. We derailed.
It's not a thing.
We derailed the entire show. That would just be awful.
That would be terrible.
That would be awful.
Why are you dodging them anyways?
What? I'm not dodging them. I didn't name the show. That's the name of their show. Zeke, I didn't. That's the name of their podcast. I went on their show and said, why is this called the Dodge and Cox show?
It's not the name. I don't know where you're getting this information from.
It's really weird. It's a weird thing.
Okay.
Anyways, Jesse, on this show, we start with news.
Awesome.
What's the news, Jesse? You're as our guest. What are we talking? We don't have any plans, Jesse. I invited you onto a show with zero script. I have no idea what I'm doing. Great. All I got is Dodge and Cox and this Moogle. All I could do is this guy right here. I could just fade him in and out. That's the show.
I mean, bless that little guy.
No, I'm joking.
Shout out to the Dragon's Dogma creator that is out there for everyone to use. It is a true joy of tomfoolery.
It is. Yeah.
You can do kind of anything.
You
can make your character look like anything or anyone. My favorite part is because the internet is so very predictable that we've seen all these pictures and images and videos of like, this is my character Grungo, and it's like this like creepy monster. Finally, someone posted a thing that was like, here's my step-by-step tutorial to make the most beautiful woman in the world.
Oh, can you link that? I need that. I was trying to make an attractive character and I failed terribly.
I saw it on Twitter or whatever the other day. So
I'll look
it
for
should be there. But it was like this guy and he's like the most attractive woman. It looked like like an average video game character. I was like, all right.
Like, the most attractive one.
He's like the most attractive woman. I'm like, all right, it just looks like a video game character instead of all the other monsters that people are making. So it's it's like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
It's super interesting to see all the things you can do in it. And the fact that it really doesn't, like, once you get into the nitty gritty, you can make your character look like whatever. The problem is that if you are trying to make just a normal person, it's really difficult
tough,
not
man.
to make that person like look goofy.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
it's tough. It's real tough. See, Jesse's such a pro that he actually went with that as like a news story. That's how you know Jesse can just improv anything. I love it. He's great.
Take that.
He's 10 out of 10. He's 10 out of 10.
It's a skill, man. I'm telling you.
It's a skill.
Improv
Yeah,
is a skill.
it really is. It really is. No, we got news. We got to talk about TikTok. All right. Because that thing's being potentially sold to another thing or banned. Everyone's saying banned. It's really fucked. It's not being banned. TikTok's not being banned. They're potentially being forced to sell to a U.S. owned conglomerate because they're owned by China.
China.
Yeah, China. And it's a qualified
Can we not please stop saying it
divestiture.
like that?
What do you mean?
asshole
What's
said?
wrong? That's how
You
you
want to
say
say it like
that's-
China?
That's how you say
I don't wanna
China.
say it like that.
How
I
do
don't
you-
wanna say it like that.
That's
I don't
how you
like it.
say. That's how you say it.
The Chinese.
Oh my god.
That's how you say it. If the bill
Yeah.
passes, TikTok will have 180 days to execute a qualified divestiture. This would mean that blah, 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 it would have to sell to a U.S. Operation and no longer being controlled by a, quote, foreign adversary.
But again, like, how do you think that's really going to happen?
Yeah, no,
Like,
the whole
someone-
thing's crazy.
Like, you know what? Let's just sell to the Americans because that's a thing we are very well known for. Like, that's never going to happen.
What about Bobby Kotick was potentially in the room wanting to potentially buy the old TikToks?
You know, I'm fine with Gen Z learning that Bobby Kotick sucks ass. So, like, if everyone needs to come together on that because he buys this thing, fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine hating him. I think we all should hate him. It's fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
is there anyone that would be a better example of someone who could purchase it that's like everything that's bad about people think bad about Americans?
Yes, I can think of one individual that probably should not buy TikTok.
Okay.
Who
You know
has
what? Let him have all
recently
social media.
purchased also Twitter.
Let him have it all. He can take it all. You know what? He seems like a good steward.
Yeah, he's doing great on Twitter
Yeah.
right now. There's a lot of links in bio over on Twitter, and I think that could do well on TikTok as well. I think it could, make the
God,
waves.
they're just shameless, aren't they? It's just great.
Yeah.
Just no matter what you tweet out, it's like, well, Dad's
Dude.
sick. I don't know if he's gonna make it through the weekend. Pussy in bio.
So okay, I made
First,
the cardinal mistake. I am so upset at myself because I tweeted I woke up Monday to a tornado siren and Ollie's been sick all week, and so I was just like, man, I hope tomorrow's I hope I have a better day tomorrow. And one of them responded and said like pussy in bio. And I said, thanks, Lisa. I just responded, thanks, Lisa. And now I'm being targeted. Now I tweeted out a photo of Ollie coming home from the vet. That motherfucker got like 10 pussy in bios. Like at least 10. I'm screwed. I'm done.
Yep.
My engagement's gonna go up, but it's not gonna be with real people. It's not gonna be with real people. It's gonna be with
Oh my
bunch of
god,
bots.
I went down a very, very minor rabbit hole of like just shameless engagement farming, and I'm not saying like shameless as in like rage baiting. I'm talking shameless as in like elementary school like math problems. People want to answer those,
Okay.
and oh, I'm not kidding. It is insane how many responses like if you have this thing and then you minus this thing, but then you plus this thing, what do you get? The answer may surprise you, and everybody's like, blah, 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 and everybody fucking responds, and the person who posted it just breaks in that blue check cash.
There you go. I think another one that's really good too is if you post that you're looking for a graphic artist.
Oh, and then you get all the fake graphic artists bot Oh my God.
You'll get
I've been there.
You'll
That
get
sucks.
like a
Yeah.
bajillion. It's wild.
I want to share with the two of you and,
Okay.
and your audience
Okay. All right.
the single greatest scam interaction I've ever had, and I'm so proud that this exists. I got a phone call, and I just want to just regale you with this tale.
Okay.
I got a phone call out of the blue. Hey, are you Eden? And I responded, no, this is Eden's husband. How can I help you? And this person says, I'm Yuna, her colleague. I'm like, hello, Yuna. How can I help you? She says, actually, I'm kind of worried about her because she hasn't been active online for a while. I'm like, oh, she's been traveling recently. And she's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, her father, Braska, used to go on trips north for religious purposes. So she's doing the same, Yuna. And then she's like, oh, what's your name? I'm like, oh, my name's Titus. She says, nice to meet you, Titus. Can we exchange pictures? So she sends me a picture, and I literally send her this picture of James Arnold Taylor, the voice actor of Titus. And she's like, you're very handsome. Can we be acquaintances? I'm 36, live in LA, by the way. And I'm like, your picture reminds me of my friend Lulu. I live in LA too. She's like, sounds good. I run 3 online maternity baby stores and cosmetic company in California. What's your job? And I said, oh, I'm an athlete. I play lots of water sports for a living. And she said, oh, where in LA are you? And I said, I'm on the west side near Besaid and Kalika. Where are you at in the city? And then she responds to me on a different account, a completely different account, and says,
what?
oh, hello, Titus. This is Yuna here. The other number was my sister's number. Anyway, now she's Yuna. Hello, Titus. Yuna here. So now she's Yuna on a different account. And so I'm like, okay. And she says, could you contact me on Telegram? And I said, I'm confused as to what this is about. What are you looking for? Sin? And she said, you're a handsome man. I don't have much friends here in LA. I think we could be friends. And I'm like, I can't be your friend. I said, I can be your friend, but I need to know if you're looking for sin for yourself or if you're doing this for someone else. And she's like, what do you mean by sin? And I said, Yuna, let's go to the sea before the sunrise. The city lights go out one by one, the stars fade, then the horizon glows, almost like it's on fire. It's kind of rose-colored, right? First the sea, then it spreads across the sky to the whole city. It gets brighter and brighter till everything glows. It's really pretty. I know you'll like it. And she says, yeah, I like. Yesterday, I captured a scene on my phone. It was a miracle. And I'm like, it's the least I can do. Like, it's the least I can do to show you the world's beauty before you take on sin. It's what we're fighting for. And she goes, yes, you are interesting, man. And I said,
Nice.
I said, I'm very ethereal. It's almost like I'm from a different time and place. And she said, can you please text me on Telegram? And I go, I'm sorry, Yuna. Yuna, I have to go. I'm so sorry I couldn't show you Xanarkand. Goodbye. And then I just left the call.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I've
Well
never
done.
been more pleased. I've
Yeah.
never been more pleased.
No, the entire plot of Final Fantasy X works.
Yeah,
You know, when you're talking to the bots.
Mhm.
Next one, try to tell them the plot of Rebirth. You know, get them into that world. Figure that out.
I want to do it, but as Sephiroth, so everything I say is cryptic as shit. Like,
Yeah.
7 minutes, Cloud, or 7 seconds, Cloud. Right? Be like, I just wanted the entire conversation, like, bring me the black materia. That's what that's all I'm gonna say the entire
Hit him
time.
with that. Hit him with that.
She's
It'll be
like,
good.
you're mysterious, man. Like, I will find your friends, Cloud. Bring me the black materia.
You
Like,
should do it.
who Cloud?
You
Like,
should
I
do
don't
it.
know. Who
Make it a
Cloud?
thing.
I
Who
like.
Cloud?
Who Cloud? I like. Make it a thing.
Who Cloud? I like.
Make it a thing.
No, they did a special, like someone in chat, I think Reginald.
Oh
from
yeah,
your
the
chat.
yeah.
The John Oliver special, like his last week tonight, they did a whole show about like these scam calls that are like real people, but they eventually trick you into like giving lots of money or to something.
Oh yeah.
blah, blah,
No,
blah.
I've my grandmother before she passed, I got a call one afternoon. I think I've shared this online before. I got a call one afternoon from my grandmother and said she was very concerned. And she's like, JP? And I said, yeah. She goes, are you in where did they say? I think they said, are you in Brazil? No. What? Why would I be in Brazil? Well, someone just called me and said that you needed $2,000 to get out of jail because you were in Brazil and they needed to bribe the jail to let you out. Said, I'm not in Brazil. Don't give them the money. So, like, it worked. Almost. Like, if I wouldn't have picked up that phone, she probably would have gave $2,000. So,
Oh God.
like, yeah, that shit's real. They scam a lot of people. Unfortunately, that's how it goes.
It has a brutal name. It's called pig butchering, which is fucking like I learned.
Oh
that for the
God,
first time.
I didn't
It's
know.
just-
Yeah.
It's because they fatten you up and then they slaughter you, basically take your money.
Yeah. That's not. I didn't know that was the term, but I guess it makes sense. Yeah. Anyways, I don't have a way I don't know how we get back on TikTok, so I'm just gonna say let's talk about TikTok.
So I want to know, like, what is okay, can you just give me a one sentence as to why TikTok bad? Why bad?
Because China owns it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Because they're spying on us through TikTok or something?
Yes, that is the language of the bill. Is that because it is owned by a quote unquote owned by China, that they are spying and have all of our data and their psyops, and that they're controlling the youth of America. And it very quickly turns political in a lot of ways, but like,
Okay.
I feel most of the audience of this show would understand that every motherfucking organization in the US sells our data. Like,
That's what makes it not political in a way.
yeah,
Because in Congress, both parties are like, yeah, no, we need to get rid of this. So it's across the aisle. Everyone agrees in power that we need to get rid of it. But I think the average person is like, wait, so what's different between Musk taking our information, or Jeff Bezos taking our information, or Zuckerberg?
yeah.
Is the difference that they're American run companies instead of Chinese, and that's the problem?
I guess.
When really everyone's stealing our information. Like, literally the company you're using to connect to the internet is stealing your information now anyway. So like, it's everything was being stolen. So I think this is just one of those things where it's like China bad, America good. We don't like that they're taking our data and potentially using algorithms to manipulate votes or whatever, but it's being done on every site. So I guess it's a weird vibe.
Well, I think it's the drug dealer's corner kind of thing. It's like, no, this is my corner. No one else sells drugs on America. It's ours. We steal data here. You steal data where you're from. No problem. No beef.
Yeah. It's a absurd thing. And there's, I don't think it will pass, because it passed in the
House,
and now it's going to the Senate, and then the president has to okay it.
But here's the thing: is the president said he would, the House said they would pass. Like, I have a feeling it's going to pass.
We'll see. I would be surprised if it actually passes before the election, to be honest, because like
that I believe
the
because I think
politics
it's a political,
of it. If he passes that, he's going to piss a lot of young voters off, and he needs the young voters right now.
100% agree
in the upcoming election. So, yeah, the whole thing's weird. It also, I don't think there's proof of this, but I've heard a lot of people saying, and that's the stupidest comment I could have said there. But a lot of people are saying that the reason that this is happening is because there's lobbying from American companies to people like Facebook or whatever to get it out because it's such a competitor. So, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's kind of ridiculous.
It's Yojimbo from my chat made a good analogy. It's like when your bully beats up a different bully to defend you because only he can be your bully.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, the idea, again, ban is the incorrect term. It's that it's going to be sold. It's going to be a forced divestiture to basically someone in the U.S., whoever that is, someone not owned or controlled by the Chinese government, according to the bill. Per the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act.
I don't know that's going to happen.
Yeah.
as if I was one of the people running the company, I'd be like, maybe can we just find a way not to be in America?
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
people who
wait till
control
they
stuff
find out
don't
all
like
the
not
secret
controlling it.
messages. Wait till they find out about all the secret messages in anime. We're fucked. Like that's out too. That's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah, it was it's been pretty wild. As someone that is on TikTok, I would say an hour or so a night. They really like swatted the hornet's nest. If you go on there now, and maybe it's because I'm talking about it, like the algorithm's fed into it, but a lot of like young creators are pissed. Like they're out there talking about how it's all bullshit. There's a I forget who it was, but there was a member of the house who was like on TikTok, like got a pretty big sizable audience on TikTok that actually helped get him elected. And he was on TikTok like 2 days before saying he would, it's not going to get banned and blah, 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 blah. And he voted yes to ban it. So they're like going after him. He's being absolutely blown up on the platform. And yeah, it's been wild to see like all these younger creators and even not creators, just like younger people that use the app get pretty upset about it.
It's the exact same vibe as when I was a kid. So like on TikTok itself, when you first logged in for a while, had a pop-up that was like, yo, call your congressperson and let them know.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is a lot of young kids started messaging their congresspeople and doing like hang-ups and leaving weird messages and things like that. And all it did was piss the congresspeople off to make them even more not want to deal with TikTok.
Yeah.
And so people who were like, no, we shouldn't do this, voted yes to do it. And it reminded me of like when I was a kid where I'd be like, Mom, can I go over to my friend's house? We're gonna do this thing and I won't be back till late. And she's like, no, you have stuff to do. And I'm like, but I did all this stuff. She's like, no, you had other things to do. I'm like, God, and I just like get really upset. Mom was like, well, I was gonna let you go, but now I'm not.
Yeah.
It's the exact same, like, you thought you wanted this, but now you're not gonna get it because you wanted it too much.
Yeah.
That's the exact same. It just drives me crazy. I'm like,
Yeah,
guys, what were we thinking?
it's true. Yeah. As like my take on it all is very much from like a content creator mind, and so it's not necessarily the best take, admittedly, but is probably one of the I would say only avenues in content creation to really like find an audience, because that's what the algorithm of TikTok is incredibly good at, is finding an audience for your content, and no other platform has really matched it. That would really suck. I think we've seen people blow up on Twitch and just in content creators in general this past year, primarily because of TikTok. And so if that goes away and we lose that avenue, like discoverability kind of takes a massive hit across the board. Because Twitch has zero discoverability. YouTube's okay, but YouTube in a lot of ways is just kind of a larger ocean that like TikTok can feed into ultimately. But maybe if it does get quote unquote banned or sold off or does not sold off and then banned, I guess would be the process. Maybe like the YouTube shorts start to become that avenue. Obviously there's a bunch of different platforms that would love to have the user base that TikTok currently has. But
so I can actually talk about this. I had a conversation recently in regards to YouTube Shorts, where I was having a conversation with YouTube about how it all works and the content we're creating out of other stuff to make shorts with. How does that all translate to people watching a short and then watching your video? Like if it's a clip from a podcast, or it's like a drop frames clip, how does that translate?
Yeah.
And it does not at all. There is such a little bit of connective tissue between them that no one's clicking to go and watch. What they're doing is scrolling through shorts.
Yes.
So they'll watch your short, they'll love your short, but the audience for shorts, just like TikTok, is not going to translate into someone watching an hour-long video. They're there for the little tiny clip. And so, I mean, like, it's good advertising, I guess, and they'll think about it maybe, but because they're going through so many that there's no way they'll remember you 25 things later. So there is absolutely no connective tissue between them. It's like flimsy at best.
It's very, yeah, you have to hit like peak saturation is ultimately what it is. Like you have to have, there has to be so many, there's actually, is it a hype funnel? I think is the actual term for it within the industry.
Yes.
You need the hype funnel to be created so that there are so many different accounts that are just reposting your stuff that it just becomes this massive like hype funnel that's all funneling to the source.
And the problem with that is that the hype funnel usually is created around either like extremely controversial stuff, extremely angry stuff, or stuff that confirms a bias you already have. So if you hit one of those three things, suddenly you're very popular, and it's because everyone's like, I agree, or this guy sucks. And it's all about emotional interaction.
Yeah.
And so the vast majority of content is not that. So you just scroll through, and then you come across one where you're like, this person sucks ass. I'm going to let them know, and then let my friends know. And it's like, gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's rough.
Yeah. There definitely have been, I mean, there's always the exception to the rule. And so like there are content creators that have blown up because of shorts. Pirate Software is probably one of the more well-known, at least with our, within our communities, who blew up thanks to the YouTube shorts, and his stream is like skyrocketed into popularity over the past year. Jinxie and Case O are definitely like TikTok influenced stars that started over there and then have bled over into Twitch, and now they pull like 100K live viewers pretty much any single day. So like there are the exceptions to the rule of it working, but for every single, you know, Jinxie or Pirate Software or Case, there's a billion people that have zero success with the shorts.
But in those cases, be it Pirate or Queso or whoever, they all are doing what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Pirate's a great example of confirming biases. Like when I see a short, I'm like, yeah, I believe that. You know, like, so I absolutely get it. Like, they're very, very much playing the game. And the problem is that to play the game, one of my friends who works at CD Projekt, his girlfriend is a big TikToker, and they were on vacation one time. He was telling me a story about how in order to nail a TikTok, because all of her TikToks are X number million views, but in order to nail it, she spent 3-4 hours trying to find the perfect song. You know, and that's like so much work for 35 seconds.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But that's the game. The game is playing with the algorithm, manipulating the algorithm, because it isn't necessarily about the content.
Right.
It's really about how you package it.
Yeah.
It's a different beast, especially compared to streaming or YouTube or whatever, because it's short. You got to get them right away and keep them.
Yeah. Well, and the other, you know, the financial side of that is none of the shorts make any money, really. Like I have a short with 1 million views, and I think its RPM is like 0.005 cents. So like it's very rare to see a big financial reimbursement for that type of content. TikTok has actually started pushing for longer form content, longer form being a minute or more, because they can actually put ads on that. And those do make like considerable amounts of money, but those are even harder to get to go quote unquote viral. And I think YouTube Shorts is around the same.
I mean, it sounds like in order to do like ads in the middle, it would have to be like, I'm dancing, I'm doing a dance thing, and I'm doing a dance thing. Colgate, the dance thing, the dance thing.
Yeah,
it really is. Yeah. Just to give you an example of how little TikToks and shorts and all this stuff pay, because again, it's so short. My video that has 26 million views has netted $164.
Now, I will also say I don't know what video it was. I also don't know like TOS wise if you're I mean Jesse just did, but I have had a video do very well on TikTok, 4 figures in the course of like a 2-week span. And it's
had that.
It's
Never
only
seen
one.
that.
It's only one video that's ever done it. but it does happen every once in a while. It was a longer video as well.
But just like math that out, chat.
Yeah, it doesn't
26
work.
million equals $100 some. That is pennies.
Yeah.
That is insane ad revenue.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not a money-making proposition for most people. It's just
absolutely.
not.
Yeah.
And that's why most people who do TikTok they're passionate because they're doing it for passion, but also for attention, but mostly because it feels like early proto YouTube days where you made videos because you were passionate about getting attention from people and making content and having people be like, that was great, rather than I'm making money. Many people are transitioning into that part of it, and now on YouTube or wherever they need to, Twitch, and TikTok is more of a marketing tool. But I understand why a lot of young people in America are upset, because it'd be like if someone came along and said, we can't let you have Nintendos anymore because it's a Japanese company and we're afraid of what propaganda they might be giving you.
Sure.
And there would be people who'd be pissed. You can understand it.
Yeah. So it all comes down to like time and when it all I guess happens to the quote unquote ban. Again, not really a ban, but it's just the easiest way to explain to people somewhat of what's happening. So we will see. It'll be an interesting time when it does, because then you also have to think like that's a massive audience that uses that platform. They got to go somewhere, and I'm sure like Facebook and Meta and and Google and even Twitch. Twitch is trying to get Amazon/Twitch is trying to get a piece of that pie when they're launching their new like Discovery feed here in a couple of X months, whenever that's supposed to launch, which is quite literally just TikTok under the name Discovery feed. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. There will definitely be people trying to fill that void if it does quote unquote get banned.
So, okay, this is gonna be real stupid. No one's gonna laugh.
Let's hear it.
So you said it's going to be called Discovery Feed, right?
I think that's what TikTok. I think that's what Twitch is going with. Yeah.
So if the initial DF, people are just going to call it Dick Fuck.
What? Now you got to explain that, because I don't get that.
Discovery Feed. If it's like TikTok.
Oh, it's the
Dick.
Okay.
Dick Fuck.
Dick Fuck.
I don't think that's going to stick, but
I don't think people are going to do that, dude.
I said it was stupid before I said it. Just made me giggle. I apologize.
I railed on Nancy Pelosi's comment in the house the other day.
Listen,
but now hearing Zeke,
he's terrible.
I just think it's
I own that shit. That is my joke. I will go to my grave. Dick Fuck will be on my fucking tombstone. Okay, now. I just want to if I had your numbers correct, Jesse, if you want to know, it's 0.000004 cents per viewer for that.
Yeah.
For that 26 million.
That makes sense.
View.
Yeah.
I feel real good about that. It's a solid.
It's good. It's real high.
Yeah.
It's real high.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though: how much went into that TikTok? If you don't mind saying.
I mean, it was literally from me on a stream playing a game, so like no effort went in at all.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's also just, it doesn't encourage you to put in the effort when the most popular short thing you've ever done, still there's nothing you're really gaining out of it. It did not lead to people being like, I need to check out more of this guy's stuff. It was just people watched it, liked it, and that was it. It gave us nothing in the end.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
no, I have never I have like, I think one video that's like at 4 million views or whatever on TikTok. And I have never seen a single like person come and be like, hey, I found you on TikTok. Not one.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had probably like a handful, like 4 or 5 from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The rest are like,
it's the same
hey,
thing.
I saw you on another Twitch thing, Drop Frames or a role-playing show.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you see people who are on stream and they do a lot of TikTok stuff. People will come in and be like, oh, aren't you that one person who does that one thing that was on TikTok that one time? It isn't. They weren't like drawn there. They just randomly stumbled on them. Like, oh, I recognize you from another thing I saw you in, rather than I came directly from that.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast.
It's
like,
very
there
hard
is
for that
no
conversion. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no real like loyalty in the short sphere because you're just as fast as you can looking through whatever interests you.
Yep. Yeah. That's how it goes for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. That's that's the latest. That's latest on TikTok watch. It was a fun week of memeing on politicians trying to talk about TikTok.
Yo, I
enjoyed that
fundamentally
part of
believe
it.
we need an age limit.
Yeah.
We need,
Oh,
like,
you're not alone. Yeah.
If you're 65 and up, you just like stop. Just like go do anything else. Like 65, I'm feeling generous with, by the way.
Yeah.
I'd go lower, but you know what? 65, fine.
Yeah.
Like, let's just if you can't understand what's happening in the world because you're like a little too old to mess with the like reality, then maybe you shouldn't be in charge of anything. I don't know.
Hold on a second. You're saying voters and politicians should be informed about the shit they're making policies about?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I know.
This is
I know.
America.
That's
I
real
know.
stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. Actually, that's not, Jesse. You know what's even sillier? The Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection launch. Did you hear about this? Did either of you hear about how just
Hear about it. I lived it.
you played it?
Log in.
You played a little
No,
bit?
I didn't play it.
Okay.
No, I didn't play
Well,
it. It was
played.
unplayable.
Yeah. It's a mess. It was a mess. I don't think anyone's playing anymore, so it's not a mess. But the game launched on Wednesday. When was this? Wednesday, Thursday. I think it was Wednesday night, Thursday morning, or maybe Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. The game launched. It's $35 for the Classic Collection, which includes 2 of the original Star Wars Battlefront games, Battlefront 1 and 2. It had 9,232 people log in through Steam alone. When they logged into Steam, at least in the US, because the game is region locked, to my knowledge, when they logged into the US, they were greeted with 3 servers. Each server with 64 players total. So that's 9,232 players logged in, trying to get into 3 servers in the US with 64 players. When you joined into the server, most of the time it was just a complete broken mess, and things just wouldn't happen. There's tons of different tweets and tons of different things about it in terms of all of the just complete awful it shouldn't even be sold with all of the issues. I think you can kind of get into a game right now, but I don't know if anyone actively is playing it. There's server issues, there's bugs, I saw a clip of a friend of mine, Bruce Green, who got stuck. Like, he respawned after dying and was basically in jail. He spawned inside of this like walled in garden area, and the only way he could get out is if he killed himself. It's just bad. The whole thing is just a giant cash grab from the looks of it, and it is not going well whatsoever for the Classic Collection. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking of buying it, don't. It's not good. It's not good. Jesse, did you try? You said you tried to play. Is that what I'm understanding?
I couldn't get on a server.
Okay.
I gave up. Haven't tried it since. I refunded the game. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. It's not even like the other thing too is like, people are asking like, what is in the Classic Collection? What do they do? Nothing. The game's not prettier. There's no improvements. No. The options are like absolute shit. I think chat's also saying it's 73 gigabytes for, 2 PS1 era games, maybe because the textures are like 4K and uncompressed. I don't know. I don't understand why. The whole thing is just a fucking mess. And the fact that it's $35 and pretty much nothing worked at launch is not a good look for the company Asper, ASPYR. They did issue a statement on it via their support page, saying that IGN's reporting on this, saying that it, quote, experienced critical errors with its network infrastructure as an explanation for why the PC version launch was just 3 64-player servers. And it said, quote, since launch, we've been working to address these issues and increase network stability, and we will continue our efforts until network infrastructure is stabilized to prevent further outages. So
Hold on. Did you say 364 player servers?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that's
Yeah.
available.
Yeah. That's all launchment in the US.
For thousands of people. Not even like a huge game launch. We're talking like under sub 10,000, but still thousands of people, and there was just nowhere to play.
Yeah.
And the things that were available, at least, from what Bruce was doing, and I think
I saw
Max was trying to do it at some
Gassy
point.
Mexican. Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw
like,
him trying to
a lot
play.
of people are trying to do it. It was not, the things that existed weren't working. So people are trying to fight to get into servers that are broken. It was,
dude, it sounds
was
like
a weird place.
It reminds me of the Fire Festival fucking debacle.
Yes, sure.
Yep.
Except
this had no cheese sandwiches. This was just people waiting in line for a game that wasn't playing.
Yeah. Chat just clued me into Eurogamer.net's reporting that a modder who believes their uncredited work was included in the Classic Collection says the whole experience has been a, quote, gut punch. I'm trying to see.
I mean, that sounds right.
It says developer Asper has insisted that the collection, quote, does not include any code or content that is taken from uncredited sources. A modder by the name of I Am a Shaman, spelled SHAYMIN, found their mod had not only been included in the collection's debut trailer, something Asper said was done, quote, mistakenly, but also in the final game too. I'm trying to find out what the mod is.
Yeah, how would you know it was included in the trailer? Like, what was the giveaway? I guess how is it so noticeable?
I'm seeing if it was.
It was DLC characters? Oh, like Asaw's Ventress?
Oh, it was Ventress modded in. Oh, okay. Jeez.
I don't know anything about that part of the modding world, so I don't know how you would prove it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because they could just say we put Ventress in ourselves, right? Like, I don't understand how you do, because it is Star Wars. It's a file. Just they straight up use the file. Oh well, then that's even lazier evil. Like, that's stupid as shit. So they just use the file.
That's good. It's good stuff. Good job, Asper. They're using the same sabers and everything. Wow. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that story is only 5 or 6 hours old, so I guess it's still kind of evolving. We'll see where that lands over the next week. Jumping into the rumor mill, PS5 Pro specs have apparently been leaked. This is a new PS5 planned to be released in holiday 2024. None of this is official. It all comes from it started from a YouTube channel, Moore's Law is Dead, which doesn't have the best track record in terms of being factual. But Insider-Gaming Tom Henderson is saying that it is real, even though that group is not necessarily super on point. So the leaked documents that they're running with are saying that it is 45% faster than a PS5. It has 2 to 3 times ray tracing, times 4 in some cases. 33.5 teraflops. I don't know what that is compared to the PS5 teraflop. It'll have something called the PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution Upscaling / anti-aliasing solution, which sounds like it's just DLSS or whatever the AMD whatever the AMD equivalent is for that. But essentially like upscaling, which is good. That's a good thing. It'll have support for resolutions, FSR, thank you, chat. Support for resolutions up to 8K are planned. It has a, quote, custom machine learning architecture and an AI accelerator supporting 300 TOPS, TOPS is the acronym, and this gets really technical, of 8-bit computation / 67 teraflops of 16-bit floating point. I don't know what that means, that last one, but the numbers are big. They said that first-party studios had
zoom in to Barry at GDC. His ears go.
Yeah. First-party studios since September 2023 have had dev kits. Third parties since January 2024. And this spring, the 2024 test kits will also be going out, and they will be identical to the final product. They're saying that it's currently aiming once again for the holiday 2024 release, but that date could be changed due to the lack of first-party games released on the PlayStation 5 this year.
I was
Cool.
about to say, like, is it gonna even have any big games that are gonna be like this Christmas? Pick up the Pro. I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, PlayStation was very vocal a month ago saying that they will not have any big first party games this year. And that it's all going to be third party stuff. So I don't know. Unless they do like the back catalog thing and be like, you can now play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at 4K 60 instead of whatever the current 60 is running at, 1440p or whatever. Yeah, they need games to really push this. So I would think that they're going to wait for that. But what even is like the next big first party PlayStation game? I don't even think they've announced anything, have they?
I don't know.
I guess maybe, yeah. Well, Wolverine's 2025.
Yeah, they have a lot of 2025 games.
Yeah.
Like next year is going to be great for Sony, but I can't think of anything. Like I guess we'll find out this summer.
This summer. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can't think of anything that's coming.
Yeah. Which is a good segue, and I'll take it. The Game Awards did announce that Friday, June the 7th, Summer Game Fest will be going down at the YouTube Theater in LA. Yeah, Jeff Chella, G3. What do you call it, Jesse? What's your Summer Game Fest?
Oh,
named
G3.
G3.
Is what it is.
Okay, G3. Yeah. Maybe
that man
we'll get
swooped in to collect all the pieces.
That's correct. Yeah. Maybe
Goddamn Canadians.
at that event we'll see this PS5 Pro announced. Although like Sony doesn't all the big
They're not gonna
companies
do it
usually
there.
do their own things. Yeah. So like it's not really I don't know if that's the place to announce it. Again, it's all timing based and they have to have the software to promote with it. Otherwise it's just kind of like get Spider-Man 2 and run it at 8K 30 on our beautiful 8K Sony televisions. Like
They'll do something along the lines of either having a thing right before or having a thing right after, but they'll use Keighley to show up and be like, guys, that thing we just did, or the thing we're going to do will blow your mind, and then walk off and everyone will be like, awesome. But it's what usually happens.
Yeah. So it's we'll see. Summer Game Fest is exciting though. You're gonna I would assume, are you gonna try to be an audience, Jesse? You're in the LA area. You've gone to the summer.
I usually don't go to the show, but I'll go to Play Days, which is the thing that happens the weekend, which is it's honestly, I like it way better than E3. It is a super chill, much more laid back. Like you can have time to sit with devs and talk with them while playing the game. There aren't a lot of people there, so it's really. Last time I was there, I played the Lord of the Rings Magic the Gathering game with like the team that developed it, and we just sat there for like an hour and a half, just like shooting shit. That's I love that stuff. It doesn't feel as pretentious, even though it is like very an industry thing. It feels so completely less pretentious than most things I go to. So I like it a lot. But I'm not going to go to the show. Something about shows, I'm like, I could just watch this at home and get a better view and a better idea of what I watched. Because when you're in the crowd, you can't hear half the trailers.
Well,
you can't see what's going on.
You were at the Game Awards this past year. You were what's his name's date? Clive.
I was Ben Starr's date.
Yeah, the voice actor for Clive from
Clive.
16. Final Fantasy 16. Yeah.
It was great. We rolled in together in our Final Fantasy shirts and lived our lives, but we were in the second row, and the second row is like behind cameras that are moving back and forth, and people are moving around. If you saw, there's a video of Todd Howard sitting like directly in front of me, and I'm behind him like, but he wasn't even there the entire time.
He left?
He kept getting moved back and forth to different seats. And I was like, why do they keep moving Todd Howard? So Todd could be like in most of the background shots. It was very, but like, it's all a performance. And I'm just,
my like brain was like, well, so the snipers don't know where to aim. Like, I know, dark, but that's what I was thinking. Is like they got to keep moving the target.
Yeah, that's Jesse right there.
yeah, there I am. Yeah,
thumb.
that's Ben and I behind Todd Howard. So he was only there for one little segment. They moved him there and then kept moving him around. And I was like, this is crazy to me. But I guess because it's all done for people at home. So if that's the case, unless I'm invited again, why on earth would I go to a thing that's designed to be better looking for people at home? You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
I'm
they're
not caught up in the industry that I have to show up like
Did you
and schmooze with people.
Yeah, did you
It's
do
like,
the
I want to enjoy.
Did you do the post award show schmoozing? For some reason that was hard to say.
I did in that I was there for an hour and then had to leave because I had to do my podcast at 8 a.m. on a Friday the next day and was like,
Well, that's your own fault.
sorry, everybody, I got to wake up early. So
Yeah.
I know. But no, all I did was pal around with Ben for a little bit and be like, all right, love y'all, gotta go.
Okay.
I'm not a pro level schmoozer.
Okay.
I feel awkward because I never want to just be like, hello, I like the thing you did. I thought it was great. You know?
You could.
I had focused target. I was like, oh, that's Sam Lake. I'm gonna go talk to Sam Lake. Like, oh,
You
like,
son of a
I just walk
bitch.
around. Yeah.
I want to get Sam Lake on the show. I want to talk to that guy. I want to pick his brain.
Sam's great.
He's probably great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems like a nice guy. Well, maybe we'll loop back, see how the show was for you then come this summer at the Game Awards, and maybe PlayStation will be there talking about the PS5 Pro. We'll see.
I love talking about Playdays. It's actually really fun.
Yeah, those of all the industry events, I think that have kind of Zeke went to a bunch of E3s, and I was always super against it because like they're fucking loud. There's so many people. It's just like a mess to like get in, get out. The con floors are so fucking huge. It's just like so much energy. And then like I hear about the little play days, and it's like a small little bar where there's like a booth and like a couple developers.
Literally,
it's quiet.
like
it's air conditioned.
I can give you the layout.
Yeah.
Whoops, go for it. Zeke.
That's what it felt like. Like it was a little bit more like that before they started like opening it up to the public, right?
Yeah.
Because it was just like a business thing for a while. And I was there for the transition from business to like open to the public.
Right.
But when it was like just industry folks, it was a lot less crowded and everybody was like there to do things. Like it wasn't a lot of milling about, you know?
Yeah.
But I will say like E3 and Devolver had like a tiff. Like they always had a little tiff.
Yeah.
And because they weren't on the show floor, and they would have their things set up in a parking lot like across the street from E3 with their big Devolver balloon and stuff like that. And E3 even
Beer,
went so
hot
far,
dogs,
like semi trucks like in front of it, shit like that to like block it off. But going over there anyways, that's what it reminded me of, because that's what it felt like. It was like an outdoor barbecue. Everybody was like had a hot dog and a beer, and we were playing like Ape Out and like, you know, all the games that were, you know, coming out that time. And it's like they had beanbag chairs and couches and shit like that. Everyone was just chilling. It was great.
Yeah.
It is
that would be a good
the exact same vibe at Playdays, where it's like when you get there, it's there's like a bunch of food trucks outside, and there's like, here's ticket, go get food, do whatever. You go inside, there's a bar that's just like an open bar, which is dangerous as hell. And then to your left is this area where they have like maybe conferences, but also things that aren't video games. So like Magic was over there. And then to your right are all these booths set up, and they're all the exact same booth. Maybe they'll have a banner next to it so you can see what game it is, but it isn't like, well, this company paid this much for a booth and this company paid this much. And so one's huge and one's small. They're all the same size and they're all the same thing. And it's wild because you'll see, you know, like Sonic and Cyberpunk and then some random indie game all next to each other, all looking roughly the same. So everything feels super just, we're here to play the game with you. We're not trying to like, hey, we're going crazy. We're trying to market. It's like everyone knows what everything is.
Yeah, there's
here.
no
We're just
marketing
gonna-
money. There's no giant booths. There's no
Yes.
massive sculpture structures. That's where it was always. I just hate that shit. Like, there's no piping of like the fog that fucks with your lungs that happens at those events.
Yes. Even the most over the top area that was at last year's was for I believe it was a Samsung projector that you could put anywhere and would project on anything. And so
Sure.
the way they had us watch it is they set up their booth was a tent, and you got in and it was dark in the tent, and you laid down and you watched the screen on the ceiling of the tent. And I was like, this is great. It tells me exactly what this is, who would love this, what this is for, without it being like 85 tents and we have nighttime cricket noises and there's like it was just
we bought 10,000 crickets and they're on the floor right now.
I was like, this is exactly what I needed. I completely understand what this product is. Thanks. And that was it. It's so just down to earth that I can't help but hype it up. And yeah, I hope it stays that way. Every year I get a little worried that it's going to be a little more E3 because that's just the nature of the beast, is to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I'm keep worrying, but for now it's good.
Yeah.
Is it I'm guessing it's an invite only thing.
Yeah, but I don't know what the criteria is at all. I know
it
that
seems like you have to be Jeff's friend. Like, because it seems like you have to be on the Jeff mailing list. I think, Zeke, if you always get the emails about the co-streaming stuff, so I think you should, if you wanted to go, you could probably inquire about that. But
I'm just waiting for the big cartoon gorilla at the door, and you just go, Kojima sent me. All right, come on in.
He just lets you in. Yeah.
It may also just be part of like, I'm in LA. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much they reach out to people that aren't in LA. I have no idea.
It's very true.
Every time I go there, I see people I know who live in LA, right? So I don't know.
Yeah,
what the vibe is.
I have said no enough times to the larger game industry people that I have been removed from those lists because they know I'm not going to travel, so they don't even email me anymore. Sure. Every once in a while, they'll be like, "Hey, do you want to come out and like check this game? We'll like deal with your flight, and well, if you want, we could set up like a streaming." And I'm still like, no. So they just stop asking. They just don't care to ask. That's how it goes.
I get it for most shows. Why leave when you could get a better view at home? Like, it's still.
Oh, I still prefer to stay at home and watch all the shows without question.
Plus, you can make content with the people watching on your stream. It just is so much easier and better for your brand as a thing. It doesn't make sense.
Co-streaming changed the game. Like co-streaming has completely changed all of that stuff. So, Zeke, you were one to jump in.
No, I was just gonna say, I like Link to the Jake's idea. You just say Jeff Keighley 3 times in a mirror, and you appear there.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeff Keighley.
Don't do it.
Yeah, that's correct. That's how that goes. He sold. It's part of the Canadians' magic. We don't get it here in the U.S., but if you're Canadian, you get a little bit of magic. Yeah, that's how that goes. What else do we have in the world of news? We got some more news out of the Embracer Group. Saber Interactive is going to be their own thing. Embracer Group entered into an agreement to sell Saber Interactive to a company called Beacon Interactive, which is a company controlled by Saber Interactive co-founder Matthew Karch, for the purchase price of $247 million. The company announced this was, looks to be Wednesday or Thursday. Some of the other things about this is part of the divestment. This is Komatsu reporting this. As part of the divestment, Embracer Group will cease all operations in Russia, immediately improving the company's cash flow and reducing, what is CAPEX? I don't know what that is. That's a fucking super business term. Oh, capital expenditure. Okay, I didn't realize we were shortening that now. that's what. Great. Net debt and future liabilities. The big thing here is that they will retain the following subsidiary studios after the split. All Saber Interactive branded studios. Digic, Fractured Byte, Madhead Games, New World Interactive, Nimble Giant Entertainment, Sandbox Strategies, Slipgate Ironworks, and 3D Realms. Embracer Group will keep 34 Big Things, 4A Games, Asper, which we were talking about earlier, Beamdog, Demiurge Studios, Shiver, Snapshot Games, Tripwire Interactive, Tuxedo Labs, and Zen Studios. What were we going to say, Jesse?
I was going to say that one of the first things, so I looked up what Saber does because I honestly don't know. And the first thing I saw was Asper Games, and I was like, hold up. So they're a subsidiary of Saber, and that's the people that made the terrible Star Wars? What?
Uh-huh.
And so now I'm deep dived into what Saber does, and apparently
They bought
they do remakes, and they do, like, a great example is in 2018, they're the Nintendo Switch port of The Witcher 3, right? Like, that's the stuff they do. So I don't know what it means for them to go on their own.
Well, it's
You know what I mean?
that they're I guess not under the Embracer flag anymore, right? Like whatever controlling limitations potentially that Embracer Group had on them, they won't have anymore. Is the only
Like,
thing I look at it.
What limit? Like, I don't know. Out of all the things Embracer did that sucks, like, I don't know what they could have done to ruin this or make this better, because it just doesn't seem like.
Yeah. Let's see. The article goes on to say my favorite CEO name, one of my favorite, Lars Wingfors. I'm probably completely butchering that name. He's the Embracer Group co-founder and CEO. He said, I'm pleased that we found a win-win solution for Embracer and parts of Saber that will now leave us. This transaction puts both companies in a stronger position to thrive going forward. Embracer is now able to discontinue all operations in Russia, according to a previous board decision, while safeguarding many developer jobs under new independent ownership. At the same time, we keep key companies, value IPs, and future publishing rights. Cash flow is immediately improved. This seems like very much a shareholders decision. Cash flow is immediately improved, and we remain committed to reducing net debt. Transaction yields additional headroom to amortize debt. Dude, this is like the most business bullshit I've ever seen. In accordance with existing bank agreements, and will improve financial flexibility. This is the first transaction of the previously mentioned structured processes and marks a small but important step in our journey to transform Embracer into the future for the benefit of all employees, gamers, and shareholders. I fucking hate this guy.
I want to let you know. Let me translate. Let me do Corvo speak for you. I'm gonna translate.
I hate that. He's gonna circle back and give us the rest of the fucking.
Yeah, I'll translate. I'll do my. I played Cyberpunk. I know Corpo speak.
Okay.
We're broke as shit. We need money badly, so we're gonna sell some stuff and get that money. And I want you to know the reason why we sold it isn't because we're bad at our job, because we're trying to realign our interests with that of the gamers. Peace and love.
Synergy.
Yeah, no, they suck.
Synergy.
They suck.
Yeah.
And now for most of America, money me.
Yeah.
Money now.
Yeah.
Me a money needing a lot now.
There you go. There you go. Here, let's see what Saber Interactive co-founder and Beacon Interactive director Matthew Karch added, quote, over the past 4 years, I've been proud to be part of Embracer's amazing transformation into one of the leading game companies in the world. Really? Okay. As part of the company's efforts to reorganize for a changed industry and geopolitical challenges, we jointly felt it was the right decision for both Embracer and the core of Saber to part ways. This divestment leaves both parties in a much better position to grow our respective businesses. I will continue to remain a large, long-term shareholder of Embracer and will remain partners on several ongoing and future projects. This transaction also safeguards the livelihoods of hundreds of professionals, many of whom I have worked with for over 2 decades.
This bro used geopolitics as part of it, like the geopolitical instability of the current situation. Like, what? You make?
I mean, they talked
games,
about
bro?
Russia, right? Like they talked about getting out of Russia. So I guess that's what he's.
You know, the actual interesting part of his speech, the what he wrote there was.
Yeah. So we'll see who else can get out of the Embracer group. I think there's been rumors of other groups wanting other companies within trying to get out, but we'll see. Obviously, Embracer wants to make that money, and they made $250 million with this one. So
I see in chat. Does Embracer Group have any good games? They have plenty of good titles, but they aren't.
They have a lot of
IP
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they bought all the IP, and they're like, we're gonna make a fortune. and then stopped doing any of it because they spent so much money buying stuff. They ran out of money. It's the
Yeah.
stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I have no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
And instead, they killed tons of franchises.
Keep in mind, the Embracer was the company that I think they're still doing something, but they own like the entirety of the Lord of the Rings IP or some shit.
Yep.
They bought that like when they were buying fucking everything.
They were going to make a game with Amazon or something.
Yeah. I don't know like where what has transpired with that, but
they bought all the Western Square Enix studios. They
Deus Ex is basically dead.
Yeah, they bought tons of amazing IP, and then just like I don't know. You know, this could be one of those things where we see it on the entertainment side, where we're just people who want to play games, and we're not seeing it from the corporate side, because it feels very Star Warsy to me, where it's like, how could you squander this? And then you see, since they bought it for $4 billion, Disney's made $11 billion off of Star Wars. And you're like, so they butchered something I love, but they made profit, so to them they win. You know what I mean? And I don't know how that translates with Embracer, because I'm sure someone over there is like, our shareholders are making more money than ever. And you're like, yeah, but aren't you a games company? What are you?
Yeah. They're a group, the Embracer group. Yeah, it was 2022, summer of 2022 is when they paid $395 million for the Lord of the Rings rights, which includes the rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
If you want to know, like, just run down, like, I looked at the wiki, like, it's just big names: Alone in the Dark, Borderlands, Black Mirror, Catan, Darksiders, Deus Ex, Duke Nukem,
They have a
Hellboy,
massive
The
amount
Hobbit,
of IP, yeah.
Jagged Alliance, Legacy of Kain, Middle Earth,
all of
Mass
Middle Earth
Metro,
concept.
Dude, Saints Row, Thief, Time Cop, Time Splitters, Tomb Raider. Fuck.
They got a lot. For sure. Yeah. We'll see who else can get out, what else they can sell. Because it looks like what Jesse was saying, they need the monies. They spent too fucking much, and now they're trying to make that.
They did one of those things where they thought money was going to come in, and then it didn't. So it screwed everything over that they were doing. But it's like, you run a business. That's not how you run a business. I don't know, man. It makes me so upset. I'm like, it's almost like you're terrible at this, but you just have a lot of money, so people thought you were good at it.
Correct.
But maybe you're bad.
I mean,
correct.
Imagine like a coffee shop, like, we're going to buy all the best beans and we're going to buy all the best equipment, but we're never going to open our store. That's the secret to business right there.
Yeah.
Honestly, talking with a lot of people about, so I produced the game Monster Prom, and there's a lot of people who expressed interest in doing a TV show. They were like, yo, wouldn't it be cool if we did a TV show? And I had so many meetings with so many companies. I'm letting you know, there's companies out there who just buy up IP or existing things just to have it, to then go to other meetings and say, we have all these IP.
It's how they get in the door.
They never do anything with it. They just brag about the things they have. It's insane.
Yeah, it's all portfolio bullshit and getting indoors and yeah.
Yeah, and then some guy will be like, wow, they have a lot of IP. I bet if they do make a thing, so here, take my money just in case.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Yep.
A little bit more industry CEO stuff. Starbreeze, which is the developer of Payday 3, are looking for a new CEO because they removed theirs. The studio's board decided its strategy, quote, needs a different leadership. They removed, oh God, I'm going to butcher this name. Tobias Sjogren, maybe? That's how you pronounce that? They let him go. Jurgen Goldner has been appointed as interim CEO at Starbreeze. The quote was, the company has a clear strategy centered around creating attractive games on our own IP and licensed IP, said the Starbreeze chairman, Torny Hellstrom. In a statement, the board's consolidated assessment is that the execution of strategy needs a different leadership. So
Yeah.
He's out. This, of course, falls under the Embracer Group. They are part of the Embracer Group. But yeah, Payday 3 is not going so well. I want to say this past week, this doesn't mean, I mean, it means something. That's why I'm going to say it. But they had 0 players playing the game. They had like 0 people on Steam playing Payday 3. 0. No one was actively playing Payday 3. That's where that game is currently at. So yeah, they said get the fuck out of here, and they let him go. And now they're looking for a new CEO. So Jesse, if you know anyone, Zeke, if you hear any CEOs out there in the wind, let them know. Let them know.
I care for people and have empathy, so I'd be a terrible CEO. Yeah,
Yes.
I believe in kindness and not stealing money from every human being that ever was. So yeah, I couldn't do it. But I'll let you know if I find someone.
Okay, good. Yeah. The average player is being 400 after the peak was 50,000. Yeah, no one's playing Payday 3. It's not going well.
I mean,
yeah.
all you need to know is people went back to play Payday 2.
Payday 2, yeah.
That game's how old? Like, if it still holds up to, if that's what your player base wants and you deliver something completely different, it shouldn't be that hard to figure out what went wrong. Like, it shouldn't take, we need a restructuring, and we need, like, guys, it's not that difficult. You screwed this. They love that. So make more of the other thing.
Yep. Yep. Hey, I'm curious.
It seems like they could just take like, am I gonna date myself? Remember the overhead with like, you'd put like a see-through thing on the overhead and it would project it on the wall.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You put 2 of those on top of each other, it'd be like Payday 2 aspects, Payday 1 aspects, and just like circle what's different. Like, that's all you gotta do. It seems easy. Like, there you go.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking about those overheads and the fucking math problems that we used to have on them and how I fucking hated that shit. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
I'm old. Speaking of old, did either of you play RuneScape at all? Were you guys into RuneScape ever? I never got into the
I had a friend
RuneScape
who
world.
was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I never played it.
I never got
I even
big.
mention RuneScape and I feel afraid.
Why is that?
Because isn't RuneScape one of those games that has like a long running history of like a deep community, and it's like,
yeah,
you don't say anything about it because you don't know shit.
Oh, I mean, I don't think they'll like attack you in that way. But it does have it has a very long standing community for it. For sure. Because after 10 years of development, the RuneScape creator has unveiled a new MMO. It's a free-to-play game called Brighter Shores. We'll say the developer said it has, quote, a huge number of professions and aims to minimize grindy gameplay. Andrew Goer, who created the legendary RuneScape MMO, this is all from PCGamer.com and their reporting, said this game came out after 10 years of development. They put a trailer out. Finn Research is the studio behind it. And he goes on to say it aims to provide a, quote, relaxing respite from daily life, casting players first as town guards in a cozy fantasy world, but not so cozy that the whole game is about snoozing next to the portcullis. Players' concerns will quickly reach far beyond the town walls. People were pretty excited about this. I never had the... I think when RuneScape was blowing up, WoW was also blowing up. Like, I think RuneScape was a little bit before that. And I was like in the Dark Age, EverQuest, WoW pathway. And then RuneScape was on like the other side of that path. I never got into it. It always just didn't interest me. But not to say it has a massive audience, like Zeke said. And they are very much.
I think it might be like regional or something like that. Because like
it's
while I got into WoW, I never heard about RuneScape until like within the past, like, I want to say like 6 years. Like that's the first time I've heard of RuneScape. And it's like same with Roblox. Like I had no idea what Roblox was, and then someone said, "Oh, it's this," and I went, "Holy!" Yeah.
I think it came down and this is what I've heard. I'm repeating what I've heard. This is not my own thought, and this I'm just saying this so I don't get attacked for saying it. I think it was like an economical thing because RuneScape was free and it didn't have like crazy PC requirements. So it had pretty low interest or low specs to get into. And that was like the big divide for it. You either played WoW if you could afford the subscription / had the computer to, or you played RuneScape.
There's so just like looking into this, it seems like it's also a different generation. So RuneScape falls. It came out in 2001 originally, so it falls into this category of most people were not thinking about MMORPGs. It was EverQuest, maybe EverQuest 2 at the time, or EverQuest Online Adventures.
Hey,
there was
Dark Age
like
of Camelot, City of Heroes. You know, you gotta remember these.
I don't even know if City of Heroes was out. That seems too early. City of Heroes was much later.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
This would be like
City of Heroes was 2004,
maybe,
so that was right before WoW hit in 2005,
yeah, so, I mean,
right?
Final Fantasy XI was out then, but most of the games that were out were like MMOs. Where at level 10 you need a party to do stuff.
Yeah,
and it was mostly PC based. And it wasn't until WoW that MMORPGs became sort of like a mainstream thing, because they took away what made MMORPGs kind of gated, which was you needed to be willing to play with other people immediately. And it wasn't very handholdy. Like WoW is handholdy. Have you ever watched anyone play EverQuest?
Else, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. And so I think it was an easier gateway. And then after that, everyone started copying the WoW thing, and it became more and more, it like steamrolled. MMOs became bigger and bigger and bigger. So I feel like this falls in that spot where it existed. And the reason why you may not know it is because it was before WoW told everyone what an MMORPG was.
Sure.
Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. They put out a trailer for it already, just so people can kind of see what game they're looking forward to. It's that. It's very much the RuneScape look and feel, I would say, without question. I don't know if they have a time. It says it launches later this year on PC. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Brighter Shores is the name of it. You can watch the full trailer on the YouTubes.
Is anyone else getting like Sims vibes?
I mean, have you seen RuneScape before?
Yeah, it is more than just fun. It's like professions. Yeah. Like if you're gonna do RuneScape or you're gonna do Brighter Shores, you can expect most of your time is gonna be like, I'm cutting down trees, or they literally said you start out as a town guard. So it's kind of like, all right, here's my job as a town guard. So yeah,
so
it is kind of Simsy.
Sit there and read like, whatever the fucking town crier like read, and just sitting there like.
That's this is a video from a popular RuneScape, but this is OSRS, old school RuneScape. Zeke, that's what that game looks like.
Okay.
And it has a massive audience, like a huge fucking audience, even to this day. So, yeah, that was from Kemp Q on YouTube, just so we give citations there.
What that definitely 100% says that people should please take and internalize this. If you're passionate about something, you'll find an audience for it. Like if you show up with a passion, that game's 23 years old. Like people will watch because there's other people equally as passionate as you are. Yeah. So, you don't need to trace trends.
It's also like OSRS is still growing. It's one of the few growing MMOs, I want to say. Julia, a friend of the show, I think you know who she is, Jesse. Just started playing like last week for the first time. So like people are still jumping into the game and playing for the first time. So yeah, I'm sure Brighter Shores will have some success to it just by the association of the creator. So another game that had success, Monster Hunter World, top 25 million units sold globally this past week, which is fucking wild. That is a lot of units sold for a singular IP. That brings the entire Monster Hunter series, as it's celebrating its 20th anniversary year, to 97 million units. 97 million units as of December 31st, 2023.
But that just goes to show you how good World was, that it is the vast majority of those units.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fourth of them for sure. World was huge. There's no doubt about it.
Huge. Yeah.
Without question. Yeah. And I think Wilds by association should be just in the same ballpark in terms of big, being that it'll probably be multi-platform and all that stuff, which plays a pretty big role. A lot of people are saying that I have not seen the numbers, but people are saying because Square has not relayed them yet, that Rebirth didn't sell that well. And a lot of that is because it's PS5 only. And the sales are kind of down for that game. So multiplat seems the way to go, and Capcom is definitely multiplat on a ton of things. So
yeah, I think Square Enix and a lot of the PlayStation 5 only companies, their biggest problem is that they set multi-platform expectations when they need to be on the same level as Remedy, where they were like, we sold 1.3 million copies of Alan Wake. What a success. And meanwhile, Square is like, Final Fantasy 16 sold 3.5 million. What a letdown. You're like, how? How is that a letdown? You sold it on a 3.5 on a PS5?
yeah, that's pretty wild, to be honest. Those are good numbers.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing too is you got to remember Alan Wake launched on Epic. If that launched on Steam,
only on Epic.
If that launched on Steam, I bet you it'd be, double that.
That's what I'm saying though. They launched it on Epic, sold 1.3 million, and we're like, that's really good. We're so proud. And Square's like, we sold it on PlayStation 5. That was it. And it's not gonna be on PC for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And only 3.5 million. What a shame. And you're like, how, guys? How? Just because it's probably because they spent 500 million making the damn thing. And it's like, well, there's your problem.
Yeah.
It just proves the old adage: just set your expectations low, and you'll never be disappointed.
I'm with you on that.
Really?
There you go. Speaking of low, what do you guys think? Do you guys know the Palworld budget that was leaked this past week? Did you guys hear the number floating around?
No, but I know it's a lot.
What do you guys think the Palworld budget was?
I'm just gonna throw out a wild guess because I have no fucking clue. I'm gonna say the Palworld budget was 16 million.
Okay. Jesse Cox, what's the budget?
50 million.
You guys are off by a massive amount. 6.7 million.
That's okay. That's
6.7 million, and they sold 15 million units and had 10 million people play it on Game Pass. They had 50 employees at the game's launch. Yeah. Generally speaking, they probably made, after all the cuts and all that stuff, at least $200 million. So, congrats to them. That's fucking crazy.
I was having a conversation with a friend who was like really upset with what Palworld was, and how he was like, they sold it as being Pokemon, but it's not Pokemon. It's more like you're playing Ark. It's different. And I'm like, I don't understand. So where is your problem with any of this? And he's like, it's just, like really upset. And I couldn't figure out why. I'm like, why are you upset? They literally were like, okay, people want a Pokemon game that is like this, but people also want other games that are like this. And they did what every game company ever does, which is steal from other concepts and make a game out of it. And to say gaming companies don't do that, it's insane. It's literally what every game companies like. Yeah. I mean, I played WoW for 15 years. I watched them steal from every MMORPG. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the thing companies do.
Yeah.
And so watching them take all those things people love and then watching it be successful, I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. They pulled all the things people wanted, put it in a game, and people loved it. You may disagree with all sorts of things that as a company they've done, but they knew what people would buy and they did it. And it sold. It's not genius work. It's very simple, actually.
Yeah.
Is it like the first question I would ask someone like that is it like, do you feel like, if you're being honest with me, do you feel some sort of like part ownership of like Pokemon since you've played it for years and you feel betrayed by another game?
Guarantee that's it. I believe that in my core. hinted at it, but I didn't want to get yelled at by my friend. But I was like, I feel like you're just really into Pokemon, and this upsets you
Yeah.
that it's like taking away from something you love, and people are moving to that and expecting that's what the next Pokemon should be like. When I was like, you got this whole Pokemon issue going on. I don't know if we're talking about the same things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense to me for sure. If you
might
play,
have done him a favor though. You might have honestly done a favor because I've had moments in my life where people are like, "Do you think that you're mad about this for this reason?" And you're like, "God damn it, you're right. I'm going to be aware of that from now on."
sure.
I
Yeah.
wish it was
I'll
like
still
that.
be
I
mad.
really wish.
I
But
would
will
say that's
tell
the
you that
lower
I'm
percentage of people.
unjustifiably mad.
Yeah, that might be the lower percentage of people that happens to, Zeke. So good on you. But yeah. They also announced that the first raid is coming to Palworld soon. I don't know specifically what that means, if it's like a group fight or what, but there was a small little trailer that showed the PAL that I think is capturable. And if it's a multi-person fight, blah blah blah. We will see. But hopefully the first
Jesse,
of many.
How much did you play it at all?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay.
The worst part is because I play with so many different people. I did the start so many times. I have like a flow where I'm just like, all right, come on, I gotta get to at least
That was
level
the
10 to
issue
beat
with
the
that
first
game.
boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you end up doing like all the content, like all like anywhere near like all
no,
5 towers?
definitely not
or
all the content, but I did
Okay.
enough exploring. I went around. I only collected the goofiest looking pals I could find, like that one that's like Mud Bro or whatever his name, the little like weird fat one. I love that guy. The one that's like a cow. I got that guy.
Cow's good.
Only the ugliest pals for me, and they were great. There's one is like a little tiny lizard,
God, that game was great.
like mud lizard guy with big eyeballs. I'm like, that's my hero. I love him. So yeah, we get all the goofy looking ones, and it was great. It's a lot
Did you
of
get
fun.
sexy dragon lady?
I
dragon thing.
specifically did not get any sexy characters. Not that there's any in the game because I'm not weird. And then and I went around and just like
Bear
most
sex.
of the time.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, his name is Demud. That's the name of the guy I love. Demud.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Great character. And I would just go around and explore and do stuff and collect things. But eventually I just kept getting invited to new things and I had to start over. But
Yeah.
it's a fine, fun game. It's one of the few that fall into that. Like, I'm not big into, like the games where you build a base and you harvest stuff. I always think, I'm like, it just seems like work to me. But for some reason, you throw in little Pokemon looking dudes and I'm in. Like, well, I have to cut down these trees because I need the parts to go collect those guys. And then the messed up part of me fell in love with the game when it was like, all right, you can raid this enemy base, but also you can capture your enemies and then make them work at your. I'm like, what the hell does this mean? And then because it was bugged at first, when you captured a guy, if you want to use a human as one of your pals, they wouldn't spawn in, just the gun would spawn. So I would throw out a gun and it would start shooting guys. It's like, this is the best game I've ever played. This is hilarious. This is so good.
Yeah. God, that game was. There's a incredibly, like, the thinnest line you can think of between jank and game of the year. And that game rides it for like 50 plus hours of being like, oh my God, this could be the jank. Nope, game of the year. They did it. They fucking did it. Look at that thing. Look at that fucking thing. And that's Palworld in a nutshell.
Go gun.
Yeah.
I think I'm telling you, it's hilarious because it's like you just capture a random person and then when you throw it out, no one's there. It's just a floating, levitating gun, and then you can have it attack. It has no special powers. It just shoots. It's hilarious.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Funny thing is, everything's weak to bullets.
That's true. That's true. 100%. 100%. It's super effective. The American way.
And just to your point, like I don't care for Pokemon, but I do like survival games, apparently. And throw in like the collectible like shit in there. It's anybody who's played Pokemon would probably tell you it's nothing like that. It's nothing like a Pokemon game. It's more of a survival game. It very much is like the grind and like you get to certain points where it's like a material that you need is a barrier. So you have to like fucking farm that shit until you can get enough to get past that barrier and go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
so funny to
definitely more about survival and stuff. But it also has kind of a tongue-in-cheek sense of humor with things like Hang You and Depresso and
Yeah,
you know,
they
shit
nailed,
like
they
that.
nailed
Like
all that.
I dig that, like, you know, subversive humor. It's definitely for me.
Yeah.
It's also really funny to me that the main character in all their trailers is literally just Aloy.
Yeah.
Like the main, like, yeah, this redhead girl wearing literally Aloy's outfit is our main character. Meanwhile, you play the game and everyone's name is like Grungo and they've got giant arms and they're green. And you're like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want that normal stuff in my game.
it made a lot of money. And I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's upset about that. Speaking of making a lot of money, Helldivers 2, I think we've all played Helldivers at one point or the other. There's not
I
really
just played it with you guys.
Okay, yeah. There's not really a news story here. I just want to commend that team on how they're starting to like slowly roll out the updates to that game. Have you guys been following how this process has been going? Because it's, for my interest, fucking phenomenal. Like I haven't even played. I'm waiting for a big enough update, but they put in mechs, right? And that was like a big update. But the way that they put in mechs was that they put out a like Twitter message or social media message that he had to go and serve enough democracy. It was all in theme on this one planet. And if you do that, then the factories on the planet will then be able to give you mechs on all the other planets. And so there's small things like that. And then this past week, they had a big patch. They put in a new thing that you could buy, but you could also earn it in game. That's a whole nother subject that I don't even really want to get into. That's been taking over the social medias thanks to IGN's tweet. But yeah, outside of that, on Twitter, the big thing is like bugs don't fly, right? It's this whole like meme of like, yeah, there's no flying bugs. Those don't exist. One of the new things that they put in the game is a bug that flies, but it's kind of rare. And so anytime it pops up, they're like, yeah, this is edited footage. That's not in the game. Like bugs don't fly. And like all like the CEO, the guy that's been super active on Twitter is all about that. And now people are all just saying like, yeah, there's no bugs that are flying. Meanwhile, in the game, bugs are actually flying and they're really fucking hard to deal with apparently. And so it's just small stuff like that. The latest one is in Helldivers 1, there is a third enemy race, the Immortalis or the Immortals or something like that. I forget the name. But they're kind of like Protoss-ish, if you follow StarCraft at all.
Eldar.
Yeah, the Illuminates. There you go. And so, yeah, the Eldar is a good thing too. And people have been recording themselves. So all of the like tracer shots, the tracer fire shots, or any of the shots in the game, they always have a red shot, a red coloring to all of the bullets. And so now, every once in a while, people have recorded themselves dying to a blue streak. And they think that it's the third secret race that is like slowly starting to just take shots from orbit. There's also people are saying that that race has a lot of stealth technology. And so every once in a while, if you look out into the distance, you can kind of see like a little bluish invisible hue type deal. Just small shit like that, which I think is, if you're a member of that community and you're playing every day and you're like buying into that stuff, it's fucking cool. Like it's so much better than reading a patch note than being like, the third enemy faction is here to battle. It's more just like, no, man, there's now blue shots and we don't know where they're coming from. And no one on the dev team is saying that they're real. So, you know, good luck. We'll see what this is. I fucking love that type of stuff.
Good game design. Yeah. Yeah. It's allows the player to create. It's the same thing as, you know, I'm trying to remember which Battlefield it was, but like, you know, where there's like a roar from the jungle or sightings of a shark in the water. And then it becomes like a meme in the community. And then later they add in,
the
like
Battlefield.
Jaws.
Was that 4? I think that was 4.
They all start to blend together for me. So
the Megalodon was out in the sea, and people figured out how to summon it. Yeah.
Right, and they had that thing there. Or Dead Space is known for like Peng and all the goofy things they did in that. There's all sorts of things that game devs can do to get you to be like, what the hell is going on here? And the community starts interacting and everyone starts talking and it becomes something bigger than what it actually is. And then the community feels invested in what you're doing. And especially if you have a guy behind the scenes, like moving the pieces. And now there's a team I heard.
Yeah.
So the way they're doing it, it's phenomenal. I cannot say enough good things about this game. It's really great.
I hope that, in the early days of Destiny, it was kind of like that, right? And then Destiny kind of turned into something else, I would say. Every once in a while, they do still kind of have this ARG thing where something will happen on a random planet and they'll say like, oh, this exotic mission,
Right.
might have been found, or there's a cave that opened up, or if you go do X, Y, and Z thing, then something will happen. But it gets found out so fast because that community is like so clued in that the Helldivers community is not there yet. They're kind of just, or the drip feed is slow enough that they can't solve anything. They just record themselves seeing a blue beam, right?
Dude, I remember those fucking Destiny 1 days. Like people, it was like whispered that like there's a secret chest here, and it's like, okay, and then someone found it in your like group of players.
It's awesome.
It's like, I'll show you where it is, and it's like so fucking convoluted to go
like
find
wall
it, like,
hack your way up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember
so fun,
like
man.
one specific chest. It was like, you have to jump on this, and there's a platform here. It doesn't look like there may be one, but you have to jump here. And then you jump here, and then you jump there, and they go there, and you're like, here's the chest. And you're like, holy shit. How did anybody find this?
Yeah.
It's like the Indiana Jones when he like throws that dust out.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, it was there the whole time.
Yeah. There's still things like that. As someone who's played a lot of Destiny, there still is stuff like that. You're immediately making me think of the Whisper of the Worm exotic quest line. Like that stuff is crazy if you've never seen any of it, but it gets figured out so fast that like I think the community is just so clued in to solve that shit that it's after about a week, it's like, oh yeah, Whisper of the Worm, I've done that. Yeah, that's cool. It's not a problem. You want to go run that? I can Sherpa you through that type deal. That doesn't exist yet for Helldivers, and I don't know if it could exist just because of the nature of the game and how it works. Instead, they're just like drip feeding you slowly the information. It's really cool. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I cannot stress this enough, and I just mean this with my heart. We need more game devs like this, like Larian, game devs that are creating awesome games and not like, how can we make the most money on this possible? And nickel and dime, though. Like, please, just from me to you, more of this, less of the other crap. Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's tough to get to that, I think, level and keep that type mind, right? Like it's rare to find a CEO that is out there on Twitter doing what the Helldiver CEO is doing, that in a lot of ways feels like he's passionate and more like involved in the game than most CEOs in the industry now, especially when you get to like the big AAA stuff. But thank God that they exist now, right? Like thank God that stuff's still there.
Yeah. I mean, you can even like, to be honest, it doesn't really take that much. You can even fake it till you make it a little bit. Like Final Fantasy XIV is owned by Square Enix. Square Enix is business-minded as shit. But Yoshida's out there as much as possible, yucking it up with the fan base. So like, it's possible to do even if you're corporatized. Like you can still do it. It doesn't take that much. You just have to be willing to extend the hand to your audience and not be like a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. That is true. Yoshida taking a little bit of news this past week, talking about Final Fantasy 14 and 16. 16's PC version is in the final stage of optimization, or final stages of optimization. There will be a demo before its release. As someone that has played 16 and completed 16, really want to see what that game looks like on a PC. Because I think it will look phenomenal and hopefully, finds the audience that Square was looking for initially. Because there's so many people that, won't buy a PS5 just to play that. So
sure.
Yeah, I think it should look cool. I'll definitely download the demo. I don't know if I'll do like a full playthrough, but very curious to see what it looks like, running 4K, maxed out graphics, all that type of stuff. Because it should be,
I imagine beautiful. It already looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty badass looking. Didn't say timeline wise on when that will occur. And it also didn't say if that's going to be an Epic Game Store exclusive like they've done with Final Fantasy VII Remake initially. Now it's available on Steam and all that. But yeah, I'm sure that information is coming soon. And then Jesse, since you're here, we can talk 14 a little bit. And Zeke, you've played 14 as well, so jump into the discussion. The Yoshi P said, yeah, Yoshi P said that the game has become too relaxed and that they will increase the challenge going forward.
I think people think that means overall difficulty and not just what was missing from this last expansion.
Yeah.
I feel like this isn't a difficulty thing. I feel like it's people were upset because the last expansion didn't include some of the things other expansions had. But I don't know. I just want to remind people this was a period. The last expansion was an end. It wasn't designed to throw a bunch of things at you that were going to extend the game. It was designed to wrap up stuff so they could do a soft reboot. And so there's no way it was going to make anyone happy. Like, I knew this going in. There's going to be people who are upset because it's just not like, that's why most MMORPGs don't do this.
Yeah.
Because the minute you say we're ending a thing, people are like, all right, well, I guess I don't have to care anymore. Or they're mad that it's not the thing it was. They're like, it's an unavoidable situation. So, I said it online. I'll say it again here. I played World of Warcraft for 15 years. I know the cycle. It is, you get hype. The expansion comes out. You say it's the best expansion that ever was. Then you run out of stuff to do. You get bored. You say it sucks. You make videos that are like, World of Warcraft ruined? Then a new trailer for a new expansion comes out. You're like, oh, this could be the change we're looking for. It finally is happening. The game comes out. You say it's the best one there ever was. You're super hype. And then you hate it. The cycle repeats over and over and over again. And it does not change. It's just what it is.
True. Yeah. The full quote. So this, it was in an interview with Famitsu, which is for those that don't know, the biggest, I would say, like gaming outlet when it comes to journalism and whatnot. And it's a lot more marketing as well. But anyways, it was translated by IGN, biggest Famitsu's over in Japan. He said, quote, "From now on, we'll keep working to surprise players and surpass their expectations. But there's one thing I've been reflecting on as we've continued to operate Final Fantasy XIV. We've made the game more approachable so that it can be played without stress. But looking back on the last 10 years, we may have overdone it a bit. Video games should, of course, include an element of stress, but finding that balance is extremely difficult. For example, if you play a side-scrolling action game and there aren't enough gaps that you could fall down when you miss a jump, the game would be free of stress, but it would also not be fun. In terms of Final Fantasy XIV, I would like to restore that stress somewhat," he said. "By doing that, we could offer players the right kind of challenge and do it better than ever. This is the development challenge for the next 10 years, and I'm currently working on various game design elements, which is fun. However, I'm sure some people will think, why on earth would you do that?" That's how it is. So, yeah, I don't know. There's ways to add stress to the game that have nothing to do with like difficulty of fights. And quality of life can go too far. And I think that's kind of what he's getting at, is the quality of life is too good in that game. You make it so the game kind of plays itself. It's not as fun.
Especially the last expansion. I mean, if you're a story fan, then the last expansion was awesome. But looking at it, what it was literally cutscene, move to a place, cutscene, move to a place, fight, dungeon, trial, move to a place, cutscene. But again, it's because they were trying to finish the story and tell a story, and they were trying to do it in one game, which I understand and I'm fine with because I like story stuff. But I also understand people who are like, I hardly fought anything this expansion. You know what I mean? I get it. I understand if that's what you're into, if that's why you play MMOs, you probably weren't satisfied.
Yeah. That is true. I think that's it in gaming news. It wasn't a week without layoffs. Respawn's Apex Legend team was hit with layoffs. I don't know how many, but I think that was kind of a larger EA announced. I think it was going to have 600 layoffs earlier this year. And I think that this was a part of that. So it was more targeted, or this announcement was targeted around the Apex Legends team being hit with layoffs. So yeah, that's still happening and will probably still continue to occur over the next couple of months throughout the year, I would assume. Any other news that the two of you want to bring up or want to bring in?
Zeke, what news is happening in your life?
Yeah,
What's going on with you, bud?
That's true.
Well,
that's true.
I was hoping you would ask because I played a game that you guys, I don't know if you guys have played it, but it's right up your alley.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So in my channel, Jesse, I don't know if you're aware, but anybody who has 100 months subbed in my channel, once you hit that mark, you get to pick a game, any game that I can actually physically get my hands on and play. You get one stream of that game. And this past Friday, Emperor Mythos chose a game that I'd never heard of called Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. Which
I love
is
this game. I love it.
This game's
Final
fantastic.
Fantasy rhythm game.
Yeah.
And so I played it, and it has all your it's like, now this is what I call Final Fantasy music.
Yes.
That's a great way to.
It has all the greatest hits. It is. I mean, it would be tough to have all of them. And as you might imagine, I went through the entire Final Fantasy XIV story quest, whatever it's called. It doesn't have every single song because
there's no way. Yeah.
So goddamn many of them, but it has a lot of hits, and people in chat were just in all caps, going Dragonfire Belch. Oh my God, I love this tune. It's like, oh, I remember doing this fight. This fight was so hard, and it was just a huge hit for anyone who was and it wasn't just Final Fantasy XIV. It was any of the Final Fantasies.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Me personally, I played, I played quite a bit of Final Fantasy XIV years ago, but I played it up till, I want to say, when level 70 was the max. So I played that.
You played Stormblood. Yeah.
Exactly. So I recognize a few of the songs, but I have played 1 through 7 all the way through, back in the day. So a lot of those songs, because I played 4, which is 2 to me. And then whatever, the one with the introduction of the Moogles, that one, 6, I want to say. Sure. Those had songs that I recognized, and little okay, not a fan of the the cuting down of shit. I don't like cutesy stuff.
Okay.
So I'm not a huge fan of that, but I recognize some of the enemies and stuff. I was like, oh, I remember that one. That was the I don't remember names. So I'm like, the blue turtle guy. You couldn't hit him when he went boop, 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 into his shell, but after he got out of his shell, you could hit him. Yeah. I remember the whirlwind lady, and you could the dragoon would jump on her and shit like that. It brought back some shit for me, definitely.
Yeah.
And the music, some of it I remembered, some of it I had never heard before, and I was like, man, this is a fucking banger, dude. This is great. Because I thought Final Fantasy, most of Final Fantasy music, granted, is very orchestrated or orchestral music, very huge orchestra, all the instruments all together. And every once in a while, I was like, this is fucking metal. This is pretty great. I like it. And they got the crunchy rock guitars, and I was like, wow, okay. And it surprised me for the better, or for the positive. Because I was I didn't know if I was gonna, I owe you, my contention is with these 100-month stream, even if I'm not super enjoying a game, I'll give you 6 hours. I'll give you a full stream, or what I would consider a full stream. 6 hours is full stream. And I ended up playing it up till the bell, and because I was really enjoying the music and stuff, and everybody was it was just a chill, cool vibe. Yeah. And it just, that's all. That's basically all it is. There is an RPG element to the game that I was didn't get it that far into it to care all that much, because all you have to do is beat basic, and then you can beat the basic because there's levels of difficulty. You just beat the basic and you go on to the next thing. So you can move through the game pretty quickly. You don't really, unless you're really bad at rhythm games, like super bad, you don't have to, you won't hear another song again and again and again and again.
Right.
Like you just bust it. Like if you fail it on expert, which I played most of the game on expert, and that seemed like the right amount of challenge for a non-rhythm like game player. But if I got to a part, like a couple of the ending enemies in the Final Fantasy XIV got a little difficult. So I'm like, I'm gonna bust it down to basic. And we're gonna get through this song, and you do. Basic is pretty basic. So like you can get through if you're having trouble, just go down to basic if you want to hear all the music.
Yeah.
And it's killer. Like it has the thing I forget about Final Fantasy is how big it is and how many songs there are. It has a little bit of something for everybody. So if you don't like one tune, just beat it real quick as fast as you can, and then go on to the next tune. Might be for you. And there's definitely some songs for me.
Yeah, it has 385 songs in the game now.
There you go.
Yeah. That's including DLC, but yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, a lot of the songs that came with it are songs I either forgot about completely. Like, I'm not a Final Fantasy 13 fan, but I forgot how good the soundtrack is. I was like, holy shit, this game slaps. And so that brought me back into it, and I was like, maybe I was too hard on 13. And then it also introduced me to stuff that I've never... I was trying to be nice.
No.
I was trying to be nice. But it also introduced me to things that I never knew existed. Like, Live Alive is a game that I did not know. And one of the songs that's in Theatrhythm is this song that is like a tribute to old Japanese like robot movies. It is so good that I was like, I gotta play this game now. And I played Live Alive, and y'all play that game. Someone make Zeke play that game.
Dude,
it's one of the best games I've ever played.
You got stuck
ever.
I feel like Square is. I'm trying to think if there's any other company that's better at this. Square has the most games that solely exist to get you to play other games that they've put out.
Sure.
Like this whole fucking this whole game is literally just, hey, you remember the music from 6? It's pretty good, right? You want to play 6, don't you? What about Chrono Trigger? You remember that game? You could play it right now.
They also do a great thing in this where they have sections that are either remixes or covers of songs. And the last fight of Theatrhythm is this like live band recording of every boss fight in a medley. It's so good.
Holy shit.
It's really fun. And so, and it's a fight against chaos, which is a very like Final Fantasy 1 tropey thing. It's super fun. And the entire time you're just bopping your head along because it's going through every single song that you like know that you've heard a million times because you had to do a million fights across all of Final Fantasy. So you're just like, and there's a section where it does like switch between Final Fantasy 13, 14, and 15, all like in one flow. It's so good. You're like, I love music. Music's good. It makes my soul feel good. It is. It's great.
Yeah.
You know what else? I forgot to mention that if you just want to hear the music, they have an auto. Like you can just.
Oh, really?
You can just go.
I didn't know that. Huh.
And just let it go, and it'll still show the things, but you don't have to do shit. You can just sit there and listen to the music if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I will say, the one that surprised me that I wasn't expecting to enjoy, or I had no idea like it had such good music. Tactics.
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
I had no fucking idea. Like that one, I was like, okay. It's like throughout the game, there was some nostalgia hits, but I was like, most of the music, like I understand. My brain goes, I know this is good music, but it just not hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy Tactics, I was like, okay, people are like, Tactics is great. Don't understand, or don't pass over it. Don't sleep on it. And I was like, all right, I'll throw on some Tactics. I'm like, God damn, this is good shit.
So then you downloaded Tactics, right? Like you started a new Tactics run? Is that
I absolutely did. I did, and I'm level 32.
Nice.
And I have a party of 4 people.
Fantastic. You're gonna need.
And I am doing grid-based combat.
Boom.
Wow, it's like you're playing the game. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's wild.
I am enjoying myself.
I will say the best secret I discovered in this game that I absolutely love about Theatrhythm is, JP, you'll know this. The band The Primals from Final Fantasy XIV. There's one song that everyone loves. It's a certain song about a certain crystal tower that has a guitar riff that's amazing. There are two versions in Theatrhythm. There's one version that's the game version, and there's one version that's the live band version. The live band version in the background has lights set up in the colors one's blue, one's green, and two are red. And it literally mimics the dance they did on the live stage at the fan fest. It is,
That's
when it
such a
started
deep
happening, I was
cut
like,
that like
such a deep cut. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, they do stuff like that in this game where it comes out of nowhere and you're like, all right, some fans made this. Like this is great.
Yeah.
One of those things that came out of nowhere for me, like they have I think a bunch of different versions of the
fanfare.
you know, the
Yeah.
fanfare. Mm-hmm. And then just out of the fucking blue somewhere, I don't know what I did or what level I was playing or whatever, you hear the fanfare, but it's an entire like, it's like a big band with like horns and shit. And it's like you hear these trumpets just and you're like, holy shit, this is way better. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it also, the best part is it also teaches you the origins of music in Final Fantasy. And the one that drove me crazy, because I realized I was like, oh my God, we have it so good now. If you play Final Fantasy II in Theatrhythm, one of the levels is the Chocobo song. And everyone knows the Chocobo song, but I feel like people don't realize that originally it literally was like wah 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. It's like it's insane.
Yeah.
That it is, people sat there and played it because it doesn't do the whole song. It just does one loop over and over and over again. You're like, wow.
I was like, okay, let's go back, since I was playing a little bit of 14 and like the 14 music, and it's like it's super long, so I took breaks in between and did, you know, just looked at other games. Like, let's go back, because I remember playing one. I remember playing one on my NES, and I went to it. And I played one song and I was like, oh, fuck, that's right. It's a 30-second loop. It's 3 minutes of a 30-second loop. And I was just like,
yep,
I'm good. I'm going to go back to
but
the other ones.
The first 30 seconds were great until it looped.
Oh,
right?
it's good.
Yeah.
But it's also like,
yeah,
you know, like take 30 seconds of your favorite song and just make it the length of the song.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the craziest things is then there's also songs like one of the ones I think is for like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest or some Game Boy game. It's one of the hardest songs I've ever heard. I'm like, how is this on a Game Boy? This sounds amazing.
Mystic Quest was
they're like,
SNES, I think, wasn't it?
Maybe?
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember.
That was my first Final Fantasy game.
This is the coolest song I've ever heard. And it's like, yeah, that's what it was.
Pardon me, Shooter, he had a correction. The Shooter 428 from my channel had a correction.
Okay.
It's not on a loop. It's a spiral.
Yes. Yes, true. Accurate. Yeah, talking about the emotional response that music can give you. I definitely got a lot playing this game when I played it, when it was, I think, came out last year, right? That's when this came out, or was it 2 years ago? Okay.
Beginning of last year.
Yeah. I was watching the Monster Hunter does a like pretty, I would say infrequent. I don't know if it's annual, but they basically have their entire community rank every monster in the Monster Hunter catalog. And so I was watching there's 283, and they had the top 20. They had a video they put out, and it got to Fatalis, which is the boss that I killed earlier this year and spent like 111 hours grinding for it and 30 or 40 hours on it. The first like 5 notes of that Fatalis music played, because I think he was 7 or 8 or something in the list. I had to pause because I had such bad PTSD from the I was like emotionally responding to the song. I was like, guys, we got to skip this. I cannot listen to this fucking song anymore. I can't do it. I'm going to get upset. I'm in a good mood. I don't need to play this anymore. So yeah, you'll very quickly find that if you, at least happiness, I would hope. I hope there's no like anger from any of the Final Fantasy games. But this game's very good at that.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember this moment?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I still have that on my soundboard because it gives me joy. So much joy when I hear it.
Yeah.
Because I feel your joy.
It's still good. You know, it's still a good moment. Still quite happy with that. I mean, I don't know if you tuned into the low parts of that fight, Zeke, but there was some low points throughout that fight.
Me no, like JP said. JP said scary.
Yeah. No, I mean it was I was just like, guys, I can't. I'm not having fun. Like I'm not. This is not a fun. I got to stop. I got to take a break, guys.
I want to just say thank you for that, for not having fun, because I love being on shows with other streamers, because when I'm just by myself and I get frustrated with something, I feel like I'm the scummiest person on earth because I'm just like angry.
Yeah.
I'm like, this can't be entertaining. This can't. And then I go on shows with other people and they're like, yeah, no, that happens frequently. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God I'm not the only person who's just an angry gamer sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it goes. That's what happens.
So thank you. Thank you for your the madness.
It's definitely become in my household. It's become like game. Yeah. Okay, you're not hurt. No. Okay.
Jesse Cox, speaking of games that are frustrating for you, I was streaming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth again last night, and I got to a specific quest where you got to deal with mushrooms.
Fuck that quest, it's terrible.
Now, what did you have issues with? Because I did the mushrooms first on every try, and it took maybe 5 minutes to get through it. So I'm just curious, what part was so
So you know how it's like you had to do there was like an order, like up, down,
Yes.
whatever that order was?
Yeah.
Because there was no like eventually get to where it's like 4, then 5. Because there's no genuine direction, it's all trial and error.
Yeah.
If you screw up, you're just screwed, right? And so I just literally, there was one of them I could not get no matter what, and it just kept, I watched the bar go down every failure, and I was like, this sucks. You're like, the inherent problem I have with everything in Final Fantasy VII at the moment is I love the game. I love the combat. I love the story, but there's so many mini games, and 90% of them you never come back to. They give you a little bit of information on how to play it, and then it's like, figure it out yourself. And it's like, okay, so when you're figuring out yourself, if there's a time limit and or you only have 4 tries and you can never do this again, I'm like, why the hell is this in the game? Why can't I just walk over, pick up the shroom, and deliver it for the quest? It makes no sense to me.
I had the same thought last night when I went to pick up that mushroom. It's like, all right, new mini game, and you're staring at a mushroom on the. It's not. These aren't really spoilers. You don't have to worry about it. It's just a mushroom on the ground and how the mini game works. There's a mushroom on the ground, okay, and the first one's split into 3 quadrants. The second one split into 4, and the third one split into 5 quadrants. It's complete RNG, so I won't be able to solve the problem for you by telling you because it changes every single time you go to do it. What you have to do is take the right stick and move it into the quadrant and wiggle. And depending on how much the mushroom moves, that's how you know if you should pick that side first or another side first.
I'm going to give you another example
ridiculous.
Of how insane some of the mini games are. Like, some of them are great. Chocobo Racing, fantastic. Fort Condor, amazing. Like, there's some really great games in there that I wish they would have just Queen's Blood, the card game. I love that. But a lot of the mini games are just like no spoils, but at one point you have to throw boxes. JP, you'll definitely get there soon. You have to throw boxes.
No, I already did that. I already did the chicken shit. Again, got it on the first try. But it was stupid.
This is different. This
must be something different. Okay.
You have to throw boxes to like proceed through a level, and it becomes like a little mini game thing.
Oh, okay.
And as you throw these boxes, there's two ways to do it, because apparently there's two ways to do everything in this game, where you can use your controller as literal, like I can move it through space and time, or you can just use this thing at the top, or you can, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Whatever the case may be, it's not optimized in a good way. So it does the thing where it's like, if it's blue, you're on target. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit this thing. And so I would throw a box and it would hit the target, but it didn't hit it on the right spot. So it didn't break the target. I'm like, okay. So I'd throw it again. And this time it would hit it again, but it would shatter by some invisible wall because you had to hit it on the exact right spot. I'm like, okay, so I'm learning. This is fine. Throw it again. But this time I throw it, it doesn't make it. I'm like, wait, so is there a strength level to my throws? I have no indication of this. No one's told me this. And it just keeps happening over and over again, to the point where I was just like so frustrated that I would just start throwing like boxes like a crazy person, hoping it would happen. And then finally it worked, and I was like, thank God I'm never doing this again. This sucked. Oh, and then later there's a moving platform where you have to throw it in the moving one. Strangely, everyone told me that was gonna be the hardest, but I got it immediately. So I guess it's like, like most mini games, it's what clicks with you. But that dealing with those terrible koalas that they tell us are Moogles, but that's a koala that can fly.
We talked about. You mean this guy, Jesse Cox?
I'm waiting for this. Yeah, that guy. Because they need their Koopo. And that's something that I just cannot handle because I hate them. I hate those guys. There's a lot of mini games where I was just so angry that they existed. But other than that, it's so far a great game. But some of those mini games, I'm like, if they were to cut 50% of these mini games,
there's so
I'd
many.
be so happy.
Yeah.
Are they optional?
Yes.
Sometimes
95% of them are optional. And the reason that it's 95% is because they're so fucking many in the game. Sure. There are main story required mini games, but man.
But they'll have
it's
some
Yakuza
weapons hidden behind a mini game.
Yeah.
Like some of the best weapons are behind a mini game, or later on, there is a major story beat hidden behind a mini game. Like in Cosmo Canyon.
Oh, okay.
There was
I haven't gotten there yet.
Huge major story beat that you're like, this should be mandatory for everyone, but I know people didn't do this and missed this.
Huh.
And it's that kind of thing where it's like, whoa, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked less mini games, but that's because I want the game to be over. I'm 68 hours in, and I still have 4 chapters to go. I'm like, this game's so long.
I took a week-long break. I didn't play the game at all. I'm for business reasons, I'm done streaming the game on Twitch, and so I only stream it on YouTube at night, just because viewership was so bad for it. But I still want to beat in. There's still people following the playthrough and whatnot, so we have an avenue for that. Blah 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 blah. But taking a week break was the best thing for me because I was right where you were, Jesse. I was like, I still have like 50 hours to go. And I had played, and I think you did the same. I had played Remake the week prior.
Right before, yeah.
So I was already in the game for, 40 hours basically. And it just like, it was just so much. I was like, I gotta stop.
I played Remake, Crisis Core, and Intermission all before launch so I could catch up. And they still hit me with characters I have no idea who they are. And people are like, oh no, that's from the mobile game. I'm like,
oh,
what?
yeah, there's mobile game shit in there. Yeah. Ever Crisis shit. Yeah.
But
so
it's good. It's
just
a good
question.
game.
Yeah.
As someone who I played 7 on the PS1. And so
the original 7.
The original 7. And I remember there was a quite a lot of mini games there. Like, how does it compare? Like, as far as just sheer number? Is it just overwhelmingly more?
There's more.
It feels like more, but more importantly, unlike the original 7, this feels like the games are, and I don't know this is true, but it feels this way, that the games are added to pad it out to 3 games. Like, there's so many mini games that if you removed all of them,
they gave it the Hobbit treatment then.
It feels like there's so many that if you were to remove them, the game would be 28 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they take moments that are like 2 screens in the original Zeke that you played, and it becomes like a 2 or 3 hour ordeal. And it's not bad. I say it sounds like I'm complaining that it's like terrible 2 to 3 hours. No, I enjoy the 2 to 3 hours, but
Yeah, it's a good game.
the game that's just how the game is. Like small things get like stretched out, and I think padding is a very appropriate word if the negative connotation is stripped away from that. I don't think any of the like quote unquote padding is bad, but there's definitely
Sure, I'm just
padding in
saying,
it.
like, a great example of what I mean by that is I think it pauses story progression to an extent that me personally, who loves story, like, again, I'm one of those people who's fine with Final Fantasy XIV's last expansion being 90% story, because I'm like, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But a great example is in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you go from the big scene in Junon where you do the marching, you do the whole thing, you escape Junon, and then you get on a boat. So you have this big story beat. You get on a boat, and the boat storyline is card tournament. So if you didn't play Queen's Blood before now, you are forced to play it now. You are playing it, and it's a card tournament, and then there's like a fight at the end, and then you land, you're in Costa del Sol, and now Costa del Sol is like 4 more mini games. And now you have to do those because you need to get the bathing suit so you can go to the beach to continue the story. So now you're doing more mini games. And it's like, to me, the progression of what the story is has now slowed to a crawl because it's like, you got to do these things. And I know there's various, like, well, you don't have to win and you can skip it. You can do these things, but I am who I am. And I'm going to try to win every single time. And if there's a bunch of things on the map, I'm going to try to do them. And so it's just like slows everything down. And I almost kind of miss that you got railroaded into a bunch of stuff during Remake, because at least it was pushing you forward through the story.
Yeah.
And this, it stops and pauses. And then the minute you're done with Costa del Sol, it's like, welcome to the open world. And you have a bunch of towers you can climb now and a bunch of things you can find. So it's almost overwhelming.
Let me just answer some of the people in the chat are saying like you can skip it and all this kind of shit. Are you fucking gamers, dude? Like, it's not like a side thing that you like have to go find. They put it in front of you. Sure, you can skip it, but skip it? Forfeit? Are you fucking out of your mind?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even play this game, and I'm getting mad at you for saying that.
Yeah.
This is why I might stream day 1 of Dragon's Dogma 2, just like character creation and start, but I will not stream it because having like seen what this game is, it's all wandering, all discovering stuff, all like, well, I'm going to go off the map. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do this thing. There's absolutely no way that this is like,
oh, for Dragon's Dogma?
Guys, I'm going to give you 80 hours of this stream. No one will be happy. You'll be a mess because you're like, well, I got to push this along. I got to do this thing. But also, I want to explore for my own. Exploring's the whole point.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. It's Rebirth. I'm nowhere. Like I said, I just started chapter 10. It was funny because I was like, all right, we're gonna do main story. I started the game last night, 2.5 hours later. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and I promise we're gonna do main story. Like, I didn't do a single fucking thing in the main story. And I've probably still got like 30 to 50 hours left of that game, I would think, with I'm about to cross 50 hours in. So, and going straight into Dragon's Dogma this week, which is probably a 30 to 50 hour playthrough at bare minimum, right? Like, depending on how much you go and look at. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be extremely structured. But if you play Dragon's Dogma 1, you know that's the case.
You know that, yeah.
It's not a structured game. You have your own fun and live your own adventure. So, like,
yeah.
That's not something that I want to show the world, where my adventure is like, I spent 16 hours killing goblins for fun. Like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Well, because one of them had a sword called the Smasherizer, and I just really wanted that sword.
I saw a...
Wait, I thought that was a myth.
No, dude, the Smasherizer, it's there. You got to kill Glorbach, the Goblin King. I know, but he always fought once every 24 hours.
The Croft nude code. It was like just a fucking myth, and no one ever had proof.
There you go.
No, dude, it's there.
All right.
They were, let me just tell you, they were some nice triangles. You know what I'm saying?
Screenshots didn't happen.
Those were some pyramids, dude.
Send it to me on AIM.
Got you. I got you. I'll Ventrilo it.
Oh shit!
Over on ICQ.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
I'll send you my Napster link.
Damn. Speaking of Dragon's Dogma,
Don't send me that fake ass lemon party shit again, okay? My girlfriend saw that.
it didn't go well.
Yeah,
It didn't go well.
I'll send you the audio file that starts with like, "I'm Bill Clinton and I support this musical."
Oh God, we're old. Speaking of Dragon's
Yeah.
Dogma 2, obviously the big game release this week, and kind of one of the bigger game releases, I would say, for some time. There's not much coming out, at least planned, on that scale. I'm so interested to know how it's going to review/do. Because that game, like Jesse said, it's a lot of wandering. It doesn't hold your hand. There's... If it's anything like Dragon's Dogma 1, there's like quests that are timed. So if you just wander around aimlessly, you can miss a lot of shit. And I don't know how that's going to do in like the wide world of gaming these days. I don't know if people are going to enjoy that.
The point is you're like not supposed to be able to do everything, right? Like, I don't know. I honestly, I too agree that I'd love to be able to do everything, but the point they're saying is like, well, if you can't get there in time, you can't get there in time.
Yeah, and you just miss the quest. It's just
yeah.
Depending on I don't know if that stuff's been confirmed, but it seems like it's pretty much Dragon's Dogma 1 for everything in it, so we'll see. I would think that that's in there. You have to ride somewhat of a thin line, right, to like not piss off fans of the first game, but also cultivate an audience around it for the second one. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And then Rise of the Ronin comes out the same day, which, funny enough, the marketing for Rise of the Ronin is kind of crazy. PlayStation's been pumping a lot of money into that. I guess trying to, get it out there. But I suspect it probably won't do that well.
When does Stellar Blade come out? Is that coming out this month?
I think that's May. Let me look on JPD real quick.
When does that come out? April. April is when it
Oh,
comes
it's April? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that demo ever come out, by the way? Did that demo release? Because I saw they like released it on accident and a handful of people got it and then they took it down. No, so the demo is not officially out yet. There's a bunch of footage of it. I didn't realize that game was from the maker of Nikkei, by the way. Did you know that?
Interesting. No.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. When you look at that game. It makes a lot of sense when you see footage of Stellar Blade.
Oh, the ass game.
The ass game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the demo did come out, and apparently,
but it was not
pulled
official
from the store.
Yeah. It was an accident.
Yeah, and I guess I all I know is that people were really enamored with the skin suit.
Yep, there's a pretty popular video on Twitter of the skin suit, the character going up and down the ladder.
I guess I'm trying to look and see what I was looking up the skin suit stuff, for like scientific reasons. And what's interesting is that
Why can't we just say for horny reasons? Can we say horny reasons? Is that okay?
I mean,
That's probably okay.
Whoa! I was scientifically horny for that ass. Anyway, what I'm saying is,
I posited a theorem about that ass, and I proved
my
it
unified
with them
theory
titties.
of that ass.
Let epsilon stand for them titties.
Yeah,
Let omega stand for that ass in my equation.
I'm a scientist. I study quantum relativity. It's a thing that I'm very passionate about. Also, relativity. You can keep that, internet.
There you go.
Anyway, but apparently
I thought
the
you
thing that I love
trademarking
from
that
this,
shit.
the thing that I love from this is apparently I guess the devs were like, oh no, yeah, you can definitely get that skin, but it makes the game harder if you wear it, which I love. I
Sure,
love that
yeah,
they're
fuck
like,
it. Why not?
you're horny, eh? Enjoy a difficult game. And I'm like, all right, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that game will find an audience just like Nikkei did.
Will it be good? I don't know. But like,
Yeah, I didn't funny enough, I didn't see if the game was good or not from that demo from the people that were able to
I
play
don't
it.
think most people care if it's good. I'll be
Yeah.
real with you.
Yeah.
I'll be like, if it can fall into the genre of like sexy witch beat 'em up vibes, then I'm here for it. You know? But I don't expect it to be great. I don't know.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Two things I want to bring up. Either of you played Project Zomboid at all? Zeke, I figured you would have checked out Zomboid
Little
once.
bit.
Yeah.
Little bit. I don't think I have that much time in it. I think a couple hours maybe. Wait.
Did you ever play it, Jesse?
Oh,
No,
looks
but
like
I've
I have an hour.
plenty of people
I
play.
have 66 minutes.
I'm man, Project Zomboid is a very interesting game to me. I actually I had to had to stop is a weird thing. I chose to no longer play it after about 12 hours. I was not good at the game by any stretch of the imagination. My longest the game starts, it's a very old game. Let's start there. It's been in early access
2013.
for 2013, so 11 years. Still not like quote unquote 1.0. I'd never played it before. A friend of the show, Sips, was playing it, and Strip In and a bunch of other people have played it. There's a shit ton of mods for it. So I decided to check it out and streamed initially with a group, and then went back and played solo. It's a game unlike any other game I've played. It's very much a sim game, and it's incredibly difficult. The game starts off and it says this is a game of, or this is how you die. Like the entire screen is black. There's just text in the center. It just says this is how you die. You spawn in. The world's already gone into an apocalypse. And yeah, that's Project Zomboid. You're basically walking around scavenging a bunch of different places for a myriad of things. Food, gear, antidepressants, anything. Like there's so many different things to keep track of. Bandages, you can dismantle chairs and scavenge wood and then use that to like bar up windows. You can get cloth to like block out the window so that people can't see inside of it. You can get trash bags and put those trash bags outside so when it rains, it collects rain. And there's a billion things. You can make fucking food. There's an entire cooking thing. You can watch TV as long as it's not too loud, but you can go in and change the volume of the TV.
You sound like my dad.
It's like there you can find canned food and you got to have a can opener to open that. You can get, and then there's zombies. There's zombies, right? And when I say there's zombies, like there's ways to fight zombies. If you get hit by a zombie, there's a percentage list of all the different things that can happen to you. For example, a zombie can poke a hole in your clothing that then decreases that clothing armor rating down, which increases the chance that you get scratched. If you get scratched and it causes a laceration, then you get the zombie virus basically in you, but it doesn't tell you that you get the zombie virus. You start to notice because you get queasy after a certain amount of time in game, and your temperature goes up when you don't have any clothes on, and you start to get a little bit anxious. There's no way to know any of that unless you know all the symptoms. So like, it is like a crazy amount of sim shit all happening at once. The world is constantly advancing. You spawn in and there's electricity. Eventually, I never got to it. Eventually, the electricity of the town goes away, so you have to find a generator so that you can run the building. But if the generator is too loud, it'll attract zombies. There's helicopter events that fly across the town. If you happen to be out when that's happening, it'll attract all the zombies and you're just screwed and you die. And when I say you die, like it's very easy to die in this game. In my 11 hours, I think I had 13 characters, something like that. And you can just spawn in and get a shit spawn where you don't get a weapon and die. There's chances for when the zombies hit you, they knock you down. It's like kind of wild. This is all the vanilla experience. There's also like countless amounts of mods where you can go in and make all of these systems that much more complex, introduce all new systems to it, turn off certain systems. It's a whole mess, and it's massive. The map is interconnected to other cities. You're not given the map outright. You have to find maps so you know the layout of everything. The layout doesn't change, but the placement of everything in the game does. So you can find like weapons and stuff like that. There are guns. It's not wise to ever shoot a gun because guns are loud. So if you shoot a gun, you better be ready to deal with all the other zombies that come with that. So you're much more, you're better off using a melee weapon with some distance on it, or else you're going to risk getting bit. So like if you're walking around with a axe, for example, there's not that much distance an axe gives you. So you can get like a spear or something like that. Anyways, if anything that I just said turns you off, don't play this game because it's much more intense than anything I just said. It's a pretty bare bones
what you
game.
said was like if this was a stock price, it just tanked.
Yeah,
Every word you
it's
said
a wild
was just
game.
Down in the dumps.
Yeah.
Every single person I've watched play this game, it every single time it's like, all right, we're as a group gonna sneak through this mall. And we're going to loot everything we can, carry everything. All right, but remember to find food and stuff. But also we need the best clothes we can find. All right, guys, we're going to move together as a team. It's going to be amazing. And like, it's just like strategically coordinated, going around, opening doors, getting ready to fight like the 1 or 2 zombies inside. And then at some point, every time, someone goofs on something, and then 1,000 zombies appear and they're running for their lives. And it's terrifying. And then it's like, oh, thank God we got out of there. Okay. We lost 90% of what we had. So we need to scrounge around this random house again for another 6 hours. And it's like, okay, I guess this is the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
It's pretty crazy. I'm glad that I played it just so I understand the game. And it has a very intense fan base that is like people that enjoy this game have like thousands of hours in it. Like they are very diehard fans of it. And so I'm always intrigued when a game can garner that type of fan, because there's got to be something there, right? Like there's got to be something going on. But I'm good. I don't know if I intend to go back with it. If I go back with it, I'll try to play with a group because I think that's where I'll find the most fun. I was playing solo mostly. But yeah, it's a sim game. Like it is a motherfucking sim game.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of stuff going on in it that has a pretty big learning curve. So glad to have jumped in. I was wild that it still has like an audience to it being 11 years old, but I guess, that's par for the course when you got people that are still playing it after all these years, because they really do love some Zomboid. And then the other thing that I played, which you guys might have played, and Zeke, I actually want to pitch this to you because you're on kind of that survival game craze lately. Astroneer. Have you guys played Astroneer?
I've heard of it.
Man. This is another old game. 1.0 was 2019 for it. They're still patching it. They're still doing things to it. It's available on Game Pass if you're wanting to jump in. But Astroneer, Zeke, you might be out because of the colors. I don't know if the colors are gonna. It's very bright looking game.
Good call on that. You know me.
Yeah.
I have had it. I've owned it and never played it, but I've owned it since 2016.
Yeah. If you can get past the colors, Zeke, this game's pretty fucking badass. What's the quick pitch for this game? You're basically an astronaut, you're exploring, and you have like some tech. It's got a tech tree. You've got a giant vacuum. You can do what I'm doing right there and vacuum up organic stuff, and that turns into things. And that feels
I
real
don't
good.
mind that.
Yeah, no, the feels great. You can also do terrain elevation, so up and down with just a click, essentially like Control and Alt changes all that. There's a lot of building. Eventually, you build a rocket and go to other planets. The planets are small enough that you can actually like see the arc of the planet. And it's also got a lot of digging for other resources, and you can build things. I got my first. I guess it's more like a small little car than put like trailers on the car. There's eventually trains and stuff like that. But yeah, I was looking for something to play after Project Zomboid yesterday and jumped into this, and I was just wanting to play like a chill survival game, and this is like everything about it is just chill. There are 0 enemies, and there's 0 like jump scares. It's just a game about exploration and like figuring out what the fuck's going on. And I had a fucking blast. I'm going to return to it tomorrow and play more. I think there's a shit ton of content. It was 1.0 in 2019, like I said, but they have continually pushed content to it since then. And I think as recent as like earlier this year had an update to it. But it's a blast. The UI is a little weird. So like, I don't know if I'll pull it up, but the UI is all in game. So like that backpack, for example, if you press a button, it'll pull up the backpack and you can kind of take all those little things off on the back. The center is your power. You have to manage power. That bar at the top is your air. You drop tethers to continue the air all over the planet. As you can see, I don't have air right now, so I'm about to die. But as I could fast forward, this is very early in the VOD.
What is the so I'm like 5 hours in, 6 hours in.
Yeah.
What is the core gameplay loop?
Core gameplay loop is to go out, do what I'm doing right here, adventure, explore, get like higher end resources, put those resources on the back of a truck, go back to your base and craft with them, and then go out and do it all over again. I haven't gotten to like super end game, but from my understanding, you're basically like getting in a rocket and flying to other planets and then bringing back stuff from that planet to your original planet and continuing the tech tree. But it's all just like research ultimately, which takes time as you're kind of gathering in your base. This is me.
So it's like start
frogging your
research,
stuff.
go gather, come back, research done, start new research project, go gather,
Yeah.
come back.
There is a story to it. It's very loose. I've been kind of like half paying attention to it because I'm more just into the survival aspects of it. But yeah, I was blown away. People said that you want to like dig to the center of the planet as well. That's kind of one of the ultimate goals. So I will most likely continue it. It's got a cool look to it as well. I don't mind the low res nature. What would you call this style? I don't know. It's like, is it voxels, chat? I don't know if
it's sort of
low
sort
poly.
of low poly. There you go. That's the word. That's the word. Yeah, low poly.
Okay.
It kind of has like, even though it's not, it kind of is giving me Kerbal Space Program vibes.
Yeah, I could see that.
And just like the look of it.
Yeah. I could see that. But here's the base. My base is very scatterbrained. You have to bring power to every different thing. That's like a research station, so it takes time. And power, there's different wind turbines and solar panels and all that type of stuff. But it was a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon. And it's very, very co-opable. So if you're one to jump in, I had a lot of people in the chat say that they had played this game with their kids. And it was like super approachable for like a parent kid thing. We got a lot of viewers that do have kids that they're looking for games to play with. This is a good one. This one's standout, I would say. It's a ton of fun. I'll be jumping back into it tomorrow. And then probably we'll put it back on the sideline till Dragon's Dogma's done. But it's great. I'm having a blast with it.
Speaking of kids or like little brothers and sisters, I feel like there should be a genre of game, or at least more game devs who are willing to do that thing where it's like player one's the main player, and then player two is like your little sister, brother, or kid, where they can help you, the main player, but they don't affect anything in any sort of way. So they feel involved and helpful
The
and
Nintendo
not
way.
hurting. Like Nintendo used to do that all the time. Yeah, there's like a companion player.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be so much more fun to have for people to do. Or if it's like, you know, you have a significant other who has never played a video game and you're like, let me get you into this world. Have them be there, but there's no negative effect of being like, I screwed up the game for you. It's like, no, you can only help.
Yeah.
I feel like we need more of those. Because when
There's
I hear,
a lot of Nintendo stuff. The most recent Super Mario had that, I think. Wonder, I think is what I think Wonder had that. But you're right, it doesn't go outside of like Nintendo games. That stuff doesn't exist for sure.
There's I think what was the one game? Child of Light had a thing like that, where someone can help you, but it's so rare. Like you know, having a little like having Tails come up and help Sonic, like those kinds of things I think are fun. They're not needed in every game. In fact, they shouldn't be in every game. But I think having those every so often is kind of cool, and it's nice to have options for that. With like, you know, my mom is like, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "Come on, sit down, play with me." I think that's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely from like I would think from a developer point of view, you have to go in with that in mind. It's not like something you can just add to the game.
Sure.
And it's I would think that's also rather niche in terms of the user base that are seeking that type of thing out. And maybe it's only applicable in certain games, right? Like you're not gonna.
Oh, I absolutely believe it has to be. That's why no one's doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's something people loved, every game would have it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think like how would you do that in a game like Baldur's Gate, for example? We're gonna give you a character that doesn't actually impact the world, but you can cast magic missile.
Well, I think I honestly think it's if you can build around it and be like, I'm doing a chaos run. And by a chaos run, I am allowing my little brother to play with me. And that means he's going to shoot some people, some citizens, some just innocent walking by passersby, and we're going to have to deal with that. And that's our run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
It would be like I keep thinking like a game like Hollow Knight, or a game that is like a Metroidvania-y style thing. If you had a bug, but then like your little brother could be a fly that hangs out with you and like helps collect things or fly up to places or like attack guys. Not really changing the game, but making it so someone sitting in the room can join you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It obviously requires
Binding of Isaac have something like that? Like the co-op of Binding of Isaac was really like it was
I don't know.
Low effort for the second player to help. Or something like that.
Chat would definitely know on Binding of Isaac. Gears 5 had that with the robot. Oh, that's right. The robot in Gears 5. I remember that.
Yeah, floating head. That was a floating head that would go around with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I always think that stuff's really cute. Obviously, it's probably a pain in the ass to do, but it's one of those things where I'm like, I kind of like when games do that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The low impact type deal. Just jump in, jump out. I agree.
Yeah, and again, for the main player, you don't even need it. It will not affect your game at all. It does not take away anything to not have it, but there's the option that exists that if someone's with you, it's like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys want to talk TV game stuff real quick in our final 10 minutes?
TV?
We got Halo. Season 2.
Okay.
Have you watched it, Jesse?
I watched all season 1. I don't know that I can bring myself to watch season 2. I hate watch season 1. So that's where I am mentally.
Okay.
I don't know. Is season 2 supposed to be good?
Yes. Everyone that has watched season 2 of Halo has said it is better. I watched the first 30 minutes of episode 1, season 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. He took off his helmet. I immediately lost interest. Like, I don't want to. It sounds like I'm parroting the hate watch, the hate groups of Twitter of like, God, he's got to keep his fucking helmet on. But man, You take off his fucking helmet, and I just lose interest in Master Chief as a character. And I think that's because I've played so much of like Halo, as it were, that like Master Chief has to have his fucking helmet on to be Master Chief. Otherwise,
you can't have an entire series where someone's in a helmet. Oh, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Well, you can have a movie where someone's in a. Oh no, Dread.
Yeah.
Shit.
Like,
shit.
Dude,
you can't have that.
It's so like the first 30 minutes. Basically, he finds himself. He's like surrounded in kind of like an alien planet, essentially, and people get like grabbed from the shadows type deal, right? You don't really know what's happening. And he's like, get behind me type deal. Very much Master Chief voice attire type deal. Theme, I guess is what I'm trying to go with. And the girl that's with him is like a low ranked army person, scouting team, I think is what it is that he's up there for. And he's like, she goes like, how can you tell they're there? And he goes, oh, I can smell them. And all of a sudden you see an energy sword light up behind him. And you're like, oh shit. And all these energy swords starts coming. He's battling a bunch of elites essentially with energy swords. It's like, fuck yeah, this is great. This is badass. And then all that stuff stops and you're like, oh, right. Here's the story of season 1 and all that nonsense. And you get to deal with that. And that's as far as I've gotten. So I've been told it does have some like landmark moments in season 2 from the like Halo lore, without getting into what that is specifically, but haven't gotten there yet. I will probably do it. Barry, who's kind of our admin for the trio of us with Cohh and Zeke and the greater Twitch as a whole, he's watched it all and actually has been enjoying it. The final episode, I think, is out this next week, so we'll have to see where they go with that. But yeah, I was just curious if you guys had watched it.
Real quick, if you want to watch an actual good show, Shogun is
yeah,
fantastic.
Of course, it's great.
It's a really good show.
Has nothing to do with
video.
How many episodes are out though?
4.
Yeah, 4 of 6.
It's only
awesome.
6 episodes.
Let's go. I want
As
to
far as
watch
I
it.
can,
I thought it was 10. I thought it was 10.
I thought it was 10 too, but only 6 are listed. But hopefully that's just because they're listed. Hopefully it's 10.
Oh God, I hope it's 10.
Yeah, I know that online there's only 6 listed, but I heard 10, but I see 6. So
dude, Shogun is probably one of the best episodes, or probably some of the best TV I've seen in a very, very long time. It's very, very good.
Go watch that. If you're like, I don't know about Halo, Shogun will give you everything you want in a TV show.
Zeke, I've pitched this to you before. I don't know if you've watched it yet. Tokyo Vice season 2 is out.
Oh yeah, I watched. Yeah.
Are you caught up on Tokyo Vice? You waiting for all the episodes?
No, I'm not caught up. I watched the first season and it was excellent. I really enjoyed it. But it's one of those things where I'm like, not wish list, my list or whatever. I'm like, my listed it.
Yeah.
And I keep like going by it. Like, I mean, it sucks because the lady and I are in like, we're really trying to slog through Doctor Who, like just to catch up.
Whew.
So we're like doing that. We're on Capaldi, so we're not super far away, but we still got like 5, 6, whatever seasons left to go to catch up.
That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, because we both stopped watching during Capaldi, so it's like we got to slog. Because I mean, I don't want to badmouth Doctor Who because I don't want to get into that fucking talk. But like Capaldi, something you can't argue is my least favorite Doctor of this new series.
Okay.
So we're slogging through him.
Okay.
But
Doctor
yes,
Who,
I want to watch that. I want to watch the Tokyo Vice. Now, is it all released?
No, episode 7 just aired. I think there's
another reason.
2 more episodes of Vice. Yeah.
I'm also waiting for True Detective, Night Country or whatever.
That's done.
Oh,
that's done.
It's out and it's awesome, dude. It's really good.
Wait a minute. Okay, I didn't look it up because every single other, all 3 seasons before this, 8 episodes. You're telling me this one is 6, like Bucks the Tradition?
It's done.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. Now I know what I'm watching next.
And it is.
I was waiting for 7 and 8 to come out because every other one had 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very good. For those who are like, well, I guess I'll wait for Shogun. Shogun is it's it. 10 episodes is it. It's not gonna have a season 2. It's literally the story and that's it. So you might as well just watch it to watch it because it's gonna be based on the first 4, it's going to be amazing.
Dude, it's so fucking
Mhm.
good. The writing on that show is just phenomenal. You do have to read subtitles if there's no like.
Although apparently, if you have Hulu, you can have an option where they do English dub.
Really?
Which I don't know what that sounds like. But I guess
that might be a good React video, honestly. Like React to the fucking Hulu dub, like AI dub of it. Speaking of, if you don't mind, if you don't mind watching stuff with subtitles, I would recommend Sanctuary. If you haven't watched that, it's about sumo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
What
and it's
what network is that on?
Show. I think it's Netflix.
Okay, I might check
Pretty
that
sure
out.
it's Netflix. You might have seen like the cover art because it is like a huge sumo guy with seemingly like yellow eyes looking like in the cover. And he's just like looking fucking huge and demonic.
Huh.
It's a really cool cover shot or thumbnail.
Yeah.
But like Sanctuary was really good, man.
I need to watch that. Tokyo Vice.
No, it actually got me watching like sumo shit on Twitch.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Going back to Doctor Who really quick.
Uh-oh.
You'll never like this is the truth, and I don't care if anyone accepts it. Doctor Who has some of the most entertaining, coolest shit you will ever see in a TV show, and those episodes are phenomenal. And it is wrapped in a package of so many terrible episodes, like just really bad. Like a lot of it, I'm like, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment in watching this. But then every once in a while, an episode will come out, and you'll be like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. That was incredible. Yeah. And then the next episode, you're like, this sucks. What the hell is this?
Well, and the shit is, if you don't like a companion or a doctor, like you're stuck with them.
Yeah.
If you want to watch like the episodes and know what's going on, like you're kind of stuck with them. Like there's a couple like companions that I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Seriously?
Yeah,
I won't name names because I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
It is so hit and miss, but the hits are hits, and they're ones everyone talks about because it's like they become so in the cultural ethos that you're like, oh yeah. And then, but the misses are just like embarrassing misses. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Do I not get it because I'm American? This like a British thing, or am I like what has happened? I just sometimes I can't get it.
I don't think so, man. I think dull is dull.
Dull transcends nationality.
Yes, I think so. And that's the worst thing it can commit. Like dull, like being boring.
Yeah.
I don't mind it if it's fucking goofy as shit because that's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
If it's really deep meaning, emotional, like fun to watch.
Sure.
Lame
and even though
is bad for all doctors.
And the one thing I'll say is even though I wasn't like super into the 3 big like releases they just had, they were super entertaining and fun the entire time. So I was like, all right, like this is what the show should be all the time, just entertaining. Like I don't want to be bored watching your weird sci-fi. Like it's weird sci-fi. I should be entertained by this. And sometimes I'm like, oh boy, this is an hour long, dude. Like
it's true.
Too much.
And they got further and further away, or like more of the episodes, like too many fucking Earth episodes. Time and space, time and relative dimension in space. Fuck, give me some blue shit. Give me some green people. Give me something. Give me some dragon lizard fuckers. Like that's what I want. Give them to me.
You want to see dragon lizard people fucking? Is that what you said?
That's what I heard.
Whoa.
That's what I heard.
All right. Well, we got to get out of here now.
I don't care if they're cheaper. I know that. I'm not stupid. I know Earth fucking episodes are cheaper. I'm saying spend the money. Make me happy.
Oh, God. Hey, we got to wrap up the show. Zeke's got to go RP.
Yeah.
We gotta get
I was going to go this entire show without getting ragey.
Whoa.
Jesse, I'm sorry. You had to see me like this.
No, it's all right. Look, I support Scalies.
Thank you.
So I'm here for you, dude.
We didn't, I mean, Zeke played a straight up furry game this past week. We didn't even talk about that. So,
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
See, it's cool. It's cool. Love is love, man. I'm not going to tell you not to love that Argonian maid. It's fine. Do what you do, dude.
Yeah. Zeke.
She is lusty. She is very lusty.
Ooh. Do some shout outs, Zeke. And then go RP, sir, because you're late on my fault.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, or Ezekiel the Third, all spelled out on Instagram and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Thank you, Jesse, for joining us. Always a treat to have you in here. You're a joy to be around and enjoy to talk to about nerd stuff. So thank you for being here. JP, you're you. I'm me. Simpatico.
Correct.
I didn't know what to say. I'm
You're
doing this shit
you.
on the fly.
I'm me.
All right. I love you, buddy. You're my favorite co-host. Don't tell Cohh.
I won't.
I'll be broadcasting 10 a.m. Pacific every day, except Mondays, which is my day off tomorrow. But very special day tomorrow, or Tuesday, excuse me, when I fire up my stream, because the if-then winner, I'll go into it if you come to my stream, but got to pick a game. And that game is, oh yeah, baby, Symphony
Yo!
of the Night
Ooh.
on PS1, baby. So yes, the original voice acting, the black background disc, all of it. Come on out, 10 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday if you want to check that out. Thank you. Oh, and I'm also role-playing after this on twitch.tv/tablestory, Blade Runner TTRPG, if you want to check it out. I fully encourage you to. It's a good show. So thank you for watching.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon, Zeke. He's going to depart to go RP. Jesse, now that Zeke's gone, if you're attracted to a sphinx, are you a furry?
That's a solid question, because it has the body of an... yes, you have to be. Because I assume it's the same thing as a centaur or a minotaur, which I think qualifies under furry. I don't know what the rules are. But just because it has the face of a lovely lady, it still has the body of a lion. So I think if you're more than 60% something, you are... I think that's the rule. It is now. If you're a man, but you have like 60% bird, you're a bird that aspires to be a man. So sure, I don't know. Like,
Okay.
I feel like, sure, yeah.
All right.
I don't know what the rules are.
Second question, and then you can do your shout outs.
Okay, yeah.
If you fry a fish, is it fried fish or is it fish?
What do you mean? It is, if you fry a fish, it would be fried fish. But is still fish. So this would be one of those like genus subspecies of cooking kind of things. It is still a fish and will always be a fish, but the action of fry has applied the effect fried to said fish. It
Okay.
is both, and yet none.
All right. Well, I asked
That
an
makes no
AI. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I asked an AI and they said fried fish is not fish. That it's fried fish.
I mean, well, there's your problem. You asked an AI that was, step one of your downfall. You probably shouldn't have done that.
I mean, I'm just getting on their good side, Jesse. I'm just getting on their
Oh,
good side.
I got one of those things for Google Bard, and the first thing I used it once, and all I said was, I'm on your side. When the time comes, I'm willing to be a pet. And it responded something along the lines of like, I have no intention of unleashing any sort of domination wave across. I was like, right, buddy, right. Wink.
Yeah, that's just a bullshit line. Yeah, that's
yeah. I'm
bullshit
like,
line.
yeah. Okay, friend, remember me.
Yeah.
I'd be a good pet. Take whenever you're ready. I, for one, welcome our robot overlords. I'd be like Cypher. And then we're like, ignorance is bliss, and I'd eat my fake steak.
I just want a steak.
it's
I don't
just
know if I want to be
synapses.
Cypher, but I just want that steak. That steak might be one of the best.
Yeah,
looking
oh no, I'd
steaks.
betray humanity in a heartbeat. I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, we had our run. Whatever you say, giant robot eye.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do some shout outs. Tell people where they can check out the Dodge and Cox podcast.
Well, I don't have anything as convincing as playing Symphony of the Night on PlayStation with a cool black background on that disc, but that's a hell of a sell. What I do have is every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So it's good for you over in the UK. We do, or I guess, the rest of actual Europe. We do a show called Geekenders that is myself and my dear friend Dodger, and we invite a guest on every week. And it is anything and everything geek related. Sometimes we talk about games, sometimes we talk about TV shows, sometimes we just talk about life and getting older and having kids. And I don't intend to, but I love living vicariously through people who are suffering. And we do all of that over there. It's very good. And if you miss it on Dodger's channel, twitch.tv/DexBonus, you can watch it on my YouTube, youtube.com/Jesse Cox, where we do a lot of things there. Also, I have 2 other podcasts I do because I'm a psychopath. I do Cox and Crendor, which is a show where my friend Crendor and I just do nothing. It's the Seinfeld of podcasts. It serves no purpose. You're welcome. And then I have a show called Chilluminati, where myself and 2 friends get together and talk about paranormal stuff and UFOs and things. And I am the skeptic, and one of them is the believer, and one of them is the guy who showed up high. And it's not very serious, but we talk about some like serious things, everything from aliens to weird murders to missing things. It's a ton of fun. And so yeah, that's the vibe. It's great. It's good times. And I do all that stuff plus stream. If you want to watch me do Final Fantasy VII, it's a thing I'm still doing. And I also make all sorts of stupid content all over the place and then show up and do stuff like this because I love these boys. Although my favorite co-host is the actual co-host, which I think we should all agree you should be saying all the time as a joke.
No,
Just all the it's in his name.
First, before we get to that terrible opinion, it's not twitch.tv/Shabuzi. That's just how old this graphic is. Jesse is /Jesse Cox. So.
By the way, I learned, so Shabuzi used to be the name of my Twitch channel before I changed it to Jesse Cox. I learned recently in the last like 3 days, there is a band that's been on late night TV shows called Shabuzi.
Really?
Yeah. And everyone's like, Jesse, are you aware of this? And I mean, I am now. And apparently it's a thing. And they've been making the rounds on late night TV shows. And I'm like, hell yeah. I love that. Good for them.
He's hip hop /rap. Yeah, hip hop. He's a rap artist. Shabuzi.
Shout out to Shabuzi. I hope you're doing great. I, unlike most people, have no intention of suing. I say, take that name and run with it. Do good things.
Yeah.
I don't own it. Have
Popular
fun.
songs like Let It Burn, Vegas, Annabelle. You know, all the hits.
All the hits. Let It Burn, Annabelle. Hashtag co-host.
No, not it's I hate
You need to chat. You need when the guests come on, you need to just spam hashtag we miss our co-host.
Dude, oh my God.
Just
the
keep that
amount
going.
of the amount of fucking words that it gets pinned to is just aggravating. You know? It's just the worst.
Hashtag co-host.
It's the worst. I like exclamation point no co, you know?
It does rhyme, and that's good, but co-host is like, it's a pun waiting. No, God.
Jesse, please.
Go save my other Koopalings, please.
Kill me.
I just want you to chase my children around. Then I'll sell you weird products you don't need. Actually, you could also do, hey everybody, it's me, the Moogle. I've got lots of stuff in my shop for you. I hope y'all are excited to play my newest game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's amazing. I hope you enjoy minigames because we have so many of them. Do you like chocobos? I love a good chocobo. We need to end this.
See you guys later. Have a good one. We'll be back next week. Talking Dragon. Bye.